Hollywood, starting from animation. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 476, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon Follow-up. Came back, finally back to Los Angeles. As soon as the Lola plane arrived at Los Angeles International Airport, Zhu made a decision. I want to rest for half a month. That's right. Since entering the beginning of 2001, Zhu Ke has been devoted to his work. He is either busy allocating options to the heroes of Wald Pictures, or is busy with the strategic planning of the Golden Dawn Entertainment Group, and also have to deal with big pushes such as Under Armour, Defin Capital, Golden Dawn Publishing, Seattle Industrial Park, Google and so on. Even with the help of Alexander, Baggio, and Sias, I'm still half tired. In fact, there are times when Zhu Ke has the urge to stop and rest. After all, he has enough money and he should enjoy his life. However, people cannot help themselves in the arena. Zhu wants to take a break. Would you like to ask CEO Victor if he agrees? Donna Langley, Kevin Fitch, Jeff Weiner, Domino. One is counted as one, and they will never agree and compromise. There are a large number of people who eat with Zhu, as many as tens of thousands. They will never let Zhu stop. Well, even if Zhu stops actively, they will push Zhu forward desperately. I work hard. Zhu Ke was painful and happy, giving himself a half-month holiday, which was already the limit. Boss, I have to say, you want to take a holiday now. It is estimated that it is not possible. Jin Shuguang Entertainment Group has as many as hundreds of documents that need your signature. Alexander poured cold water on Zhu Ke after speaking. Alexander took out a stack of documents from his briefcase. It is estimated that there are hundreds of pages. Alexander said solemnly, Boss, this is only part of it. To be precise, this is at most the tip of the iceberg. Zhu's forehead was full of black lines. Sure enough. Rest can't be done. Alexander continued, Boss, these documents are urgent documents and need to be reviewed and processed as soon as possible. Zhu was afraid, patted his forehead, waved his hand and said, Alexander, now I need to rest. As for these documents, I can't wait to throw them all into the trash can immediately and eagerly, and then set a fire. Clean, but, boss, these documents really need to be approved as soon as possible. Alexander fought weakly. The corners of Zhu's mouth twitched. How to do? I can only put aside the idea of vacation and deal with these tasks immediately, whether it is Golden Dawn Entertainment Group, LinkedIn, or even any company under Zhu Ke's name. It is now like a fast-moving train, racing wildly on the track, and it is difficult to stop. Even Zhu wants to brake. He can't do it. In this way, one can only bite the bullet and move forward. Not long at the urging of Alexander, like a dogskin plaster, Zhu Ke just got off the plane and couldn't even return home. So he could only go to the headquarters of Golden Dawn Entertainment Group to handle the busy work on hand. Busy. It took 3 full days for Zhu Ke to smoothly handle the pile of things on hand. Boss, you can take a vacation now. However, you must also understand that according to the current situation, your vacation will not exceed 1 week, Alexander said with a sharp glance. Got it, I know it. At this moment, Zhu felt a headache when he saw Alexander having a dedicated subordinate can be very speechless sometimes. At this moment, the door of Zhu's office was knocked. Victor Jones, CEO of Golden Dawn Entertainment Group, walked in. Boss, this is a fax just sent by Kevin Fitch from Wald Pictures. I think you need to read it, Victor said with a smile on his face. Oh, at the same time, Zhu was a little bit happy for now. The work that can really arouse Zhu Ke's interest is the film and television industry. No way, this is true love. Today is already mid-March, and it's not long before the Oscars ceremony held on March 25th. We have nominated 3 films in total. They are Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Spider-Man and Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon received 10 nominations. Spider-Man and Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone respectively received Best Visual Effects, Best Costume Design, etc., for a total of 6 nominations. Victor said, from the current publicity exposure, we only have Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon for the film that can win the 75th Oscar. Hearing this, Zhu Ke couldn't help but curl his lips. These old antiques from the Academy are still so unwelcome and even hate commercial movies. Commercial films are not favored by Oscars, which is almost a thing everyone knows. Throughout 2000, The Spider Man and Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone films produced by Wald Pictures, although they have achieved great success in the box office, can be called box office bombs. It is almost impossible to win an Oscar award. Well, even if you can win, the most is the best visual effect, best costume design, best sound, best editing and other Edge Awards, best actor and actress, best director, best picture. These 4 major awards are almost insulated from commercial films. Haha, Zhu Ke sneered. If it weren't for Wald Pictures' honor showroom, which is now empty, I wouldn't want to fight for these Oscars. To tell the truth, Zhu Ke, who has money flowing in his bones, does not pay much attention to awards such as Oscars. There is not a single figure in the honor showroom of Wald Pictures. It's so good to say it. Oh, by the way, boss, this is the current North American box office revenue of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Believe me, you will feel much better after watching it. Victor smiled. The box office report of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon is in Zhu Ke's hands. Really? After watching the North American box office data of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Zhu Ke's face immediately bloomed with joy. Mr. Jones, you still have a way. The success of film and television entertainment is the best medicine for the boss. Alexander on the side also laughed. Zhu Ke raised the report in his hand, his face triumphant. You are all right, it's the roundworm in my stomach. However, I have to say that the performance of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon is really good enough. The movie Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon has hit the North American market. The film officially landed on the North American theater market on December 27, 2000. www.wooksiaspit.com. After a round of small-scale screenings, it was released on a large scale on January 22. The science fiction of this film, oh no, it should be a martial arts element, which definitely makes the audiences who have never experienced the baptism of Chinese martial arts culture shine. Fighting in the bamboo forest, jumping off the cliff, flying over the wall, these elements, which seem to be aesthetically fatigued by Eastern audiences, have attracted a large number of old and beautiful movie audiences during this period. Up to now, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon has achieved more than $89 million in box office results in the North American market. Oh, this result is okay. From the perspective of its current box office performance, it has surpassed A Beautiful Mind movie and became the best-selling foreign-language film in North America. If it wins a few more Oscars and a wave of publicity, its North American box office will exceed 100 million. Steady, Zhu Ke smiled triumphantly. The second update is sent. Chapter 477, Open Life. Zhu Ke number 1 shooting base. The filming base is located in Tennessee, a small town under the administration of the Burbank area. The local population is only over 10,000. Don't think that there are too few people, it's too much. Since the end of 1999, Wald Films under Zucker's subsidiary spent $150 million to build the Zhu Ke number 1 filming base here, covering an area of about 90 acres, about 360,000 square meters, and 51 football field size. It was not until the beginning of 2001 that the Zhu Ke number 1 filming base was completed and put into use. Don't think that the Zhu Ke 1 shooting base is very large. In fact, compared to the studios and shooting bases of Warner and Paramount, this is a small one. At the same time, the shooting base is equipped with a series of the latest shooting equipment, as well as a series of modern cities, ancient cities, and related sets of various historical periods, which can basically meet most of the shooting needs. $150 million, is it a lot? Do not. In the follow-up, the filming base will continue to invest funds. While meeting Wald Pictures' own filming needs, it will also undertake the filming needs of other Hollywood film companies. Once upon a time, Wald Pictures rented the studios and shooting bases of Paramount and Fox Films when filming movies, but now Wald Pictures is fully capable of building its own shooting bases. The Zhu Ke number 1 shooting base was born. At the same time, the Zhu Ke number 2 filming base in Australia and the Zhu Ke number 3 filming base in Germany are also being planned as long as the construction of the 2 overseas filming bases is completed. This will have a huge benefit for Wald Pictures to handle film tax rebates in Australia and Germany. Everything is inseparable from the conflict of interests after all. Fast and Furious crew producer Tucker Gislaw solemnly said to the crew of the crew, since the Zhu Ke 1 shooting base was officially put into use, our Fast and Furious crew is the first to be stationed here to shoot. Crew, I have a request for you. Of course, this is not only my personal request, but also what Mr. Kevin Fitch meant. Zhu Ke number 1 shooting base has just been put into use. It is inevitable that there will be some unthinkable places, or some places where facilities are lacking. Therefore, during the filming of Fast and Furious, We must be good at finding problems, even if we check to fill in the vacancies. Quickly report the deficiencies of this Hugh shooting base to Mr. Kevin Fitch. As the voice fell, everyone nodded. The staff of each production team recorded it with pen and paper. Producer Tucker Gislos is also an old man in Hollywood. He has been the company's senior producer since Zucker acquired Hughes Pictures at the end of 1995 and reorganized it into Wald Pictures. Although there is not much feat, but the victory lies in the stability and rich experience. This is the first time he has taken on the role of producing a film with a cost of more than $30 million, and he couldn't help but take it seriously. Opportunity, I can't let it go. I am 45 years old this year, and I wasted half of my life. This is almost my last chance. I definitely want to do it well, and I want to do it very well. Producer Tucker Gislos secretly cheered on and cheered himself up. Mr. Gislos, you are here. I finally found you. At this moment, a sound came, interrupting Tucker's thoughts. Felina, what's the matter? Tucker turned around and found that the person here was indeed a staff member of the Fast and Furious crew, who is the director of the film crew, Rob Cohen, assistant Ms. Feline, Mr. Gislos. Mr. Zucker Wald is here, Ms. Farina exclaimed suddenly. Tucker was excited. Where's the boss coming? You should take me over. The big boss of my own came. And of course I, as an employee, must be extremely diligent. When Tucker rushed here under the guidance of Assistant Director Felina, he found that Zhu Ke was sitting in front of the director's monitor, chatting with the film director Rob Cohen. Rob, I am very convinced of your courage. Oh my God. The dignified holder of a double master's degree in the Department of Photography and Management of Harvard University, has committed himself to Hollywood without hesitation. After only 1 year, well, in 1973, when you were only 24 years old, you became the vice president of the Fox Television and Film Division. At the age of 28, you served as the executive vice president of Motown Records and the head of the film division. Your life is simply hanging up, but I can't figure it out. At the time you were only 13 years old, but you resolutely gave up all the film company management jobs and became an independent film director and producer. Tisk tusk, chick enough. Yes, I am convinced. Zurk-faced director Rob Cohen, ranting commercial flattery, and was amazed. Rob Cohen's early life history is indeed quite awesome. The position of vice president of the Fox Television and Film Division is a dream and a half-life pursuit of countless Hollywood workers. But what about him? Rob Cohen, who was 24 years old, did just that, becoming the youngest executive among the major Hollywood studios at the time. Countless people are envious in the history of the original Time and Space. Rob Cohen is the director's masterpiece. There are Fast and Furious 1, Extreme Agent, Mummy 3, Tomb of the Dragon Emperor, the movie The Mummy. Tomb of the Dragon Emperor is one of the few movies in the history of movies where most movie audiences hope that the villain can kill the protagonist. It is also amazing Rob Cohen loves Eastern culture very much, but he can't learn it well. In his early years, he also filmed the documentary Legend of Bruce Lee. Cohen looked at Zucker and waved his hand, and smiled, touted it. That's the same thing for me. The reason why I gave up the management of major Hollywood studios is because I think those are too troublesome, so I can safely be independent. Director and producer, I feel very comfortable. Well, I have more personal time. For Zucker's flattery, Cohen felt very useful. Too much personal time. Hearing this, Zhu Ke nodded very understandingly. You hang up. To be precise, Cohen and Zuk are both open lives. Zuk is now at work all day long. The extravagant life he once fantasized about, there is not enough personal time to realize it. www.wooksyaspit.com welcome you. Tucker stepped forward and said excitedly, Boss, you'll be here when you come. Why don't you say hello in advance? I'll make arrangements. Zhu Ke smiled and said, It's okay, I am on vacation today. You know, I am very busy every day, and I don't have many hobbies. I only love filming. Today, I just come and have a look. Tucker nodded. Many of the employees of Wald Films around him agree they still know their boss quite well. It can be said that he is a crazy movie lover. There was a sound of footsteps. The actors Paul Walker and Van Diesel, who had just finished their makeup, walked out of the dressing room and came to Zucker. The first update is sent. Chapter 478, Smart People. Mr. Wald, you are here. Paul Walker, the actor of Fast and Furious, the male number 1, was immediately excited when he saw Zuck's arrival. Paul, long time no see. The two banged their fists. Paul, Mr. Wald, you came here too suddenly today. I was not prepared at all. My God, As excited as I am, I will definitely be in a lot of situations when filming today. Oh no, for Zucker, Paul is extremely grateful. In 1998, after Zhu Ke started making his first movie Lola Run, he again picked up the guide tube and started making his first short film Tuner. When the Tuner was cast, there were many Hollywood celebrities to join in, and there was no shortage of new Hollywood actors and actresses. However, they were all rejected by Zucker and turned to be a model and amateur actor in the main business at the time. Since then, Paul Walker has become famous in one fell swoop. It can be said that Zucker is Paul's mentor and a guide for Hollywood career. Zhu Ke is also considered to be a more supportive person. As long as Wald Pictures organizes celebration parties, receptions, and annual meetings, he will be invited to participate, which adds a lot of contacts to him. Mr. Wald, when I'm filming later, you can't scold me at will and save me some face, Paul said. Suddenly Zhu smiled and waved his hand and said, "Don't worry, I'm just coming over today." Of course, don't take a chance. Trust me, as long as you don't complete the task well, Rob Cohen will kick you fiercely. Paul suddenly twitched a corner of his mouth. In Hollywood, Zhu often plays the role of the boss, producer and screenwriter of a film company, but once he becomes a director, he is definitely a proper tyrant on the set. When filming The Tuner, Paul was not less scolded. "Zhu, don't worry. Today I will put the words here, as long as Paul makes a mistake, I will kick his fiercely." Director Rob Cohen laughed. Producer Tucker immediately said, "I will stare at him, too." Hearing this, Paul suddenly showed a guilty expression, looking extremely wrong. However, all of this made the actor Vin Diesel on the side envious. Paul, who is only 28 years old, can be appreciated by Zhu Ke and act as the male number one on the crew. He has a good relationship with the director and producer, and becomes the center of the entire crew. Look at him, Vin Diesel again. I am a sad reminder, I came here with Paul, but now Paul and Zucker are talking hotly. Vin Diesel is hanging aside and no one cares. The contrast is stark. Bastard, the mentality was a little broken, but he always made a smile on his face. At the age of 34, he was not very happy in his early years. He had worked as a curtain puller in a theater, a stage actor, a personal bodyguard, a telemarketer, as many as a dozen kinds of jobs. It wasn't until 1998 that he won the appreciation of director Spielberg at the St. Denis Film Festival for his short film, The Man in Front, and he became a member of Saving Private Ryan. The little supporting role of the line has entered Hollywood at that time. He was over 30 years old. "Although I entered Hollywood very late, but my brain is flexible. I used to be a telemarketer for 2 years. I was very good at flattering, talking to people and talking nonsense." Don't look at Vin Diesel's stubborn look. He doesn't look like a good person, and his character is not considered, but his mind is indeed very flexible. Not long ago, he seized an opportunity. At the end of 1999, he became the male number one in the movie Interstellar. Legend won from the actor. The cost of the entire film was as high as $23 million, but after the movie was released, the box office score was only $39 million. The film company lost. He has been tragedy again this time. "I finally climbed into Wald Pictures, so I have to seize this opportunity tightly if I say anything," Vin Diesel exclaimed to himself. "You are Vin Diesel, the second male cast of the crew, right?" Suddenly, Zhu looked at Vin Diesel, who is always smiling. Yes. I am Vin Diesel. I am glad to meet you, Mr. Wald. Don't be nervous, I'm not a cannibal monster." Zhu Ke laughed. Vin Diesel scratched his head and made a simple expression. "Damn, you have to calm down, bastard." He was secretly annoyed. He had contemplated the conversation after meeting with Zhu more than once. In terms of the wording alone, he prepared no less than 10 plans and practiced it alone for a long time. However, when Zhu really talked to him, he suddenly became a little confused. Big shot. In the field of Hollywood, Zhu is an out-and-out big man, not to mention Vin Diesel, who is now just a small person. Even the top actors and actresses in Hollywood, when facing Zucker, they dare not be presumptuous. Although Boss Tang's role is only the second male, his role is not much worse than that of the male first. Once he is done, he will definitely be very easy to show off. "Come on," Zhu Ke encouraged. "Thank you, I will work hard, and I will definitely not disappoint your expectations," Vin Diesel said excitedly. Zhu Ke smiled and said, "Remember what you said. This is only the first part of the Fast and Furious series of movies. There will be second parts in the future, and even the 8th and the first 9. Your future is bright enough." Vin Diesel nodded like garlic, excited. He really didn't expect the Fast and Furious movie to be a series of movies. Oh my god, I'm going to Wald Pictures and Mr. Zhu Ke Wald. Van Diesel couldn't stop feeling excited when he thought of this. To be honest, as a traverser, Zhu Ke knows how arrogant, rebellious and even arrogant Van Diesel will be in the future, but this man is indeed smart enough. The first and second parts of the Fast and Furious series of movies can only be regarded as ordinary racing popcorn movies, and the third part of the series is a disastrous box office failure. The production company refrigerated the series in this regard at this time. Van Diesel stood up. He attracted investors and persuaded the production company Universal Pictures to restart the Fast and Furious series of films. Moreover, since the fourth and fifth films, the concept of family was established, which made the Fast and Furious series a great success and became a world-renowned IP film. Van Diesel's poor character does not prevent him from succeeding in Hollywood. In other words, few people who can succeed in Hollywood are fuel-efficient lamps. Many of the actors who have worked with him say that this guy is not a good thing, and his character is inferior. However, what does it have to do with me? As long as he can make money for me, he is a good actor. An actor who can't make money for me, even if he won 3 Oscar winners in a row, has nothing to do with me. Zhu Ke thought to himself, you can despise his personality, but you cannot deny his inspirational experience. In the next time Zhu Ke wandered freely in the cruise, he pointed to Van Diesel, who was filming, and said to the producer Tucker, look at him. Well, this guy is very smart, and there will be many collaborations in the future. Smart people never lack opportunities. Tucker, boss, I see. Zhu Ke suddenly felt melancholy. I wanted to give Dashie Johnson for the role of Boss Tang, so I would be a supporter for him, but they don't give face. I would rather hug Universal Pictures' thighs than taint us. Tut tut, that's right, the role of Don's boss. You reading www.uucan'tchoo.com. Zhu Ke originally wanted to support Dashie Johnson. Tucker smiled and said, boss, this is not a good thing. I believe he will regret it sooner or later. In the future, we will also shoot Fast and Furious 2, Fast and Furious 3 and more. Abandon we are definitely his loss. Zhu nodded, deeply agreeing. At this time, a crew member not far from Zhu and Tucker, Mon Eli from the props team, heard this. His face was full of astonishment. My god, what did Johnson miss? Meng Eli and Dashie Johnson are close friends, and I really feel sorry for him. He immediately made a decision. Call Dashie Johnson. The second update is sent. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 479, Dashie Johnson regrets it. Brendan Fisher, as the actor in the film The Mummy 2, how do you evaluate the newly joined Dwayne Johnson in the film, who plays the role of the Scorpion King? At this moment, even the film crew of The Mummy 2, which has landed in the North American theater market, is promoting a variety show on BBC TV. In this recording scene, the film's male lead plays Brendan Fisher, the female lead plays Rachel Weisz, the director Stephen Sommers, and the Scorpion King plays Dwayne Johnson. Only these 4 people. As for the main supporting roles of The Mummy 2, the actor Arnold Vosloo, the actor of the male number 3, John Hannah, and so on, they are not among the main forces of this propaganda. Look at Dwayne Johnson again. He played the role of Scorpion King. Played less than 7 minutes, the level of the scene is completely inferior to the male second, male third and so on. But whether it is director Stephen Sommers, or senior producer James Jackson Sean Daniel of Universal Pictures, they are very optimistic about Johnson's future. Even the executives of Universal Pictures are deliberately cultivating Johnson. Fast and Furious 5, Fast and Furious 6, Game of the Brave 1, Game of the Brave 2. The future of these familiar movies is the cooperation between Johnson and Universal Pictures. It is no exaggeration to say that Johnson is simply the son of Universal Pictures. This relationship, this resource, hey, envy all Hollywood actors. Oh, you asked me about Johnson's performance. The host asked such questions, and Brendan Fisher, who is an old Hollywood churros, certainly knew that this was the production company vying for Dwayne Johnson at the moment. He smiled and replied, he is definitely an extremely talented actor. Although he is not a professional actor, but in this collaboration, I have seen his shining points many times. I believe he will succeed in Hollywood in the future. Well, a great success. The hostess was pleasantly surprised. Oh, really? Of course, I'm pretty sure. Brandon nodded heavily immediately. The hostess looked at Johnson with a big stature and a simple face with surprise on her face upon seeing this. Johnson said immediately, "It's not that exaggerated. I'm a newcomer in Hollywood, and I still have a lot to watch out for." In the process of filming The Mummy 2, the director Mr. Sommers, the producer Mr. Jax and Daniel Sir, and Brandon, they all helped me a lot, and I am very grateful to them. Humble good popularity. These two personal settings have been settled in these few words. The heroine of the film, The Mummy 2, Rachel Weisz, said with a smile, "Everyone can see that Johnson is so strong. The title Off Big Rock is not for nothing. His biceps are I am very attracted to me as a woman." Stephen Sommers, a well-known Hollywood director, said, "The reason why I chose Johnson as the actor of the Scorpion King is not only because of his tall body, but also because of his hard work. He is always full of desire for knowledge. I am very optimistic about his future." The label of effort, the establishment of people in the entertainment industry is sometimes that simple. At the same time, Don Johnson's uncle Bach Johnson, and Universal Pictures producer James Jax, are currently recording the show backstage. "Bach, how is it? I promised you that as long as Johnson abandons Wald Pictures and invests in the embrace of Universal Pictures, I take care that Johnson will soon become a Hollywood star, believe me." After this episode of the show is broadcast, after the movie The Mummy 2 is released, Johnson will surely become famous in one fell swoop. Producer James Jax lifted his chin slightly, very proud and proud. Bach Johnson nodded frequently. Bach gratefully said, "Our family's Don Johnson has met a noble man, and I also believe that with the help of Universal Pictures, he will definitely stand out, and he will achieve greater success than in the sports field." Jax smiled and said, "Unzin. Where does this go? I said that when this period of time passes, I will promote Johnson as the leading actor in the Scorpion King movie. By then, he will be considered a big hit. From a long actor to a supporting role, from supporting role to protagonist, it is even more praised by Universal Pictures. Hey, this kind of resource is something that countless Hollywood actors dream of. How lucky is Don Johnson, who is known as the Big Rock?" Of course, all this is inseparable from his uncle Bach Johnson's step-by-step push behind the scenes, abandoned Wald Pictures, switched to Universal Pictures, and completely separated the boundaries, was criticized. What is this? Universal Pictures is one of the 6 major Hollywood companies, and its parent company is the famous French water company Vivendi Group. Vivendi has a dominant presence in the game field. As long as you are not a fool, you know that Universal Pictures is much stronger than Wald Pictures. Furthermore, it is difficult to say whether Wald Pictures, which has become the target of public criticism, can survive the suppression and squeeze of the Big Six. It's human nature to dispel misfortunes and avoid dangers, and there is no question of not criticizing them. In a short span of 10 seconds, Bach Johnson had a lot of thoughts in his mind. He felt that leaving Wald Pictures and turning to Universal Pictures was the right choice, and he was even proud of it. Ding ding ding. At this moment, the cell phone in Bach Johnson's pocket rang. "Okay, it's not my phone, but Johnson Boulder's phone." At the moment, Bach answered the phone without much consideration. After all, the person who can have his nephew's phone number is definitely not an acquaintance. "Hello, this is the phone number of Don Johnson. I am his assistant Bach Johnson," Bach said modestly. "Oh? Don is not here. You are Uncle Bach. I am Manili." There was a voice on the phone. Bach frowned suddenly. He knew Manili and Don Johnson are fellow villagers, or elementary school classmates, and they have a good relationship. Moreover, Manili is also a prop artist of Wald Pictures, a kind of well-known kind. "Don is recording the show. Do you have anything to say?" "I will tell him for you," Bach said. There was a few seconds of silence on the other end of the phone. Hey, Manili, are you still there?" Bach asked puzzledly. At this time, Manili said quietly, "Uncle Bach, I'm telling you a piece of news. I just overheard a conversation between producer Tucker and Mr. Zhu Ke Wald at the Zucker #1 shooting base. Originally intended to cultivate Johnson, an important role in the Fast and Furious series, the phone hangs up. The sudden news really caught the always confident Bach Johnson by surprise. This, how could this be?" Bach whispered. Although he often says that Wald Pictures is no longer good, he also knows the strength of Wald Pictures and holding stars, not much else. Jackie Phoenix, Scarlett Johansson and other actors and actresses. www.wooksiaspet.com. As many as more than a dozen people, but Wald Pictures has praised them as stars. The ability of the Fast and Furious movie to allow Zhu Ke Wald to visit the shooting site in person shows how much he attaches importance to the film. Perhaps I made a wrong decision for Dawn to switch to Universal Pictures. For a while, Bach couldn't help feeling a little at a loss and regret. What's the matter? After answering the phone, you are so lonely. Universal producer Jax frowned. Bach forced a smile. Can I tell you, it was not until the Fast and Furious movie series was completely popular that Bach knew he was completely wrong, and Don Johnson himself regretted it more than once. He missed a gold mine. The first update is sent. Chapter 480, On Vacation, Never Talk About Work. At noon, Zhu Ke invited the main staff of the Fast and Furious crew to have a meal in a newly opened hotel outside the Zhu Ke Wald shooting base. Boss, as far as I know, this Pasha Hotel, which covers an area of 20,000 square meters and is up to 12 floors, is also your asset. Producer Tucker said the word Pasha of the Pasha Hotel is derived from the name of this life's deceased mother. Although the Pasha Hotel has recently opened, it is the most upscale hotel around Zucker Base 1, and the most luxurious hotel in the small town of Tennessee under the control of Burbank. It's an industry under my name. Zhu looked at Tucker and said with a smile, Zook #1 shooting base costs a lot of money. I will definitely make some money back from the surrounding dining and accommodation. In the future, the shooting base will not only undertake the needs of Wald Pictures, but also the shooting needs of many film and television companies. For the shortage of materials in the area, building a hotel is definitely a necessary choice. Supporting facilities are indispensable. You're right. Director Rob Cohen pointed to the surrounding environment and said, I was here a few years ago. At that time, it was almost deserted. Even in the center of Tennessee, a small town not far away, there were not many permanent residents. But what about now? Look, this week, with the completion of this huge #1 filming base, there are so many buildings that are being built continuously. CAA, William Morris and other giant American brokerage companies have all set up branches here. Other small and medium brokerage companies have also set up offices here. Catering, entertainment, accommodation, tourism, news spots, handicrafts. The presence of these industries here has brought a huge flow of people to Tennessee. This is definitely a benefit. In my opinion, the residents of Tennessee and the local government should thank you for your generosity. Zuk. Director Rob Cohen deserves to have been in management, speaking and doing things in different ways. To be precise, Zhu Ke is very useful. In fact, not long ago, Zuk's personal team received a letter of thanks from the local government of Tennessee, hoping that Zhu could become an honorary citizen of the area. What, are you Mr. Wald? At this moment, not far from Zhu Ke, there was a sudden sound. Mark Wahlberg, the person here is amazingly young Hollywood actor Mark Wahlberg. Speaking of his masterpiece, he has to mention Infinite Walker, Transformers 4, Transformers 5. In the future, he will also be a representative of fame in Hollywood, and he is also particularly good at financial management. In August 2020, Forbes announced the list of the highest paid actors in America for 2020. Mark Wahlberg ranked third with an annual income of $58 million. Of course, he is also a representative figure among Hollywood actors who can be called bad and stigmatized actors. Mark Wahlberg was born in a poor working family in the Dorchester ghetto of Boston, Massachusetts. He is the youngest of the 9 children in the family. Drug abuse at age 10, become a cocaine addict at the age of 13, dropped out of high school halfway through, worked as a construction worker, restaurant waiter, courier, truck driver. At the same time, the number of times he has been in jail is probably one of the best in Hollywood. However, gangsters know martial arts, and no one can stop them. Mark Wahlberg is now getting more and more popular. Otherwise, where will it be popular? In the 2 films Transformers 4 and Transformers 5, he is the leading actor, and he is also famous all over the world. Hello, Mr. Wald. I am Mark Wahlberg, a young actor. You don't remember me, but I remember you clearly. In 1998, I participated in the casting of 300 Spartan Warriors. At the time, I lost a competition. However, I clearly remember what you said to me. You said, it is drugs that restrict my acting skills, and it is drugs that keep me sinking into hell. After coming out of the casting set, I contacted the Drug Rehabilitation Center as soon as possible. It took 3 months to successfully get rid of the drug addiction. Now, I succeeded. The film Planet of the Apes 2001, being filmed by Fox Pictures, has a production cost of more than $100 million. I will be the leading actor. Mark Wahlberg looked at Zucker with a smile, but his emotions were very excited, and his face was full of gratitude. Hugh was very pleased. This is your own effort, Mark. Persuading him to detoxify, it was just a whim of Zucker. and he didn't expect to make him so successful. Now the Planet of the Apes movie series is definitely one of Fox Pictures' Ace IP series. He can become the leading male character, and the future can be expected. In fact, the same is true in the original time and space. Planet of the Apes 2001 was extremely popular once it was released. The North American box office alone took $180 million, and the global box office exceeded $500 million coupled with offline DVDs, peripheral licensing, TV broadcasts, etc. The production company Fox Pictures has really made a lot of money after some chatting. Zhu also knew why Mark was here. Planet of the Apes 2001 has been filmed, but now we need to take a few sets of shots. But the original set at the Fox Pictures shooting base has been removed now. The movie will be released in a few months. On the other hand, the Zhu #1 shooting base has a similar place, so the crew of Planet of the Apes 2001 came here to make up a few sets of shots. What? Look, isn't that the super rich Zhu Ke Wald? Don't say it. It's really him. Guys, what are you waiting for? Hurry up and interview. He's a hot spot for walking. Since the completion of this Zhu #1 filming base, many Los Angeles entertainment media newspapers have set up a station here, and reporters from other regions have also come here. No, they saw Zhu Ke when they were collecting news for a time. Many media reporters rushed to hear the news in just a few breaths. A large number of reporters surrounded Zhu Ke and his party. Hello, Mr. Wald, I am Lilith, a reporter from BBC News Station. Can I interview you with a few questions? A female reporter in her 30s shouted. I'm Prince of the Boston Evening News. Mr. Wald, regarding the upcoming 73rd Oscars, can your company's Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon movie win the Best Picture award? What? The male reporter Prince was also unwilling to show weakness. In just a short time, there were as many as 20 media reporters surrounding Zhu Ke and others thanks to the adequate security around Zhu. Otherwise these crazy reporters might decide what to do, but Zhu Ke today rejected all reporters' interviews and did not answer any of their questions. The 73rd Oscars ceremony is coming soon. At this important moment, it is obviously unwise to answer interviews with reporters. In the hearts of these reporters, there is no shortage of bad water after all. Their bottom line is a bit low. Sorry, I refuse all media interviews during my boss's break time and personal time. Producer Tucker relieved Zhu Ke with a faceless expression. Zhu and his party left quickly. The reporters wanted to stop, but the security around Zhu Ke was not vegetarian. So www.wuxiaspit.com. There is no shortage of reporters full of grievances. What's the air? Even if the president meets us, he will also accept our interview. His Zhu Ke Wald's frame is really big enough. He often says that he is Loki. Haha, Loki Ghost, Wald Pictures, Wald Building, Wald Industrial Park, and Zhu Ke #1 filming base are all given his own surname and first name. This is also called Loki. Believe it or not, in the future there will be Zhu #2 filming base, #3 filming base, and Wald and so on. A group of media reporters had been addicted to their mouths, so they left Shishiran. However, many media reporters on the scene intend to discredit Zhu Ke. Even if it can't affect Zhu Ke, they are disgusting and disgusting. They are very good at it. The second update is sent. Chapter 481, 73rd Oscar. The week-long vacation is over on this day. Zhu Ke ended his vacation and devoted himself to work again. In recent times, Zhu Ke hasn't waved around, and he barely went out in the next few days. He stayed at home as a salted fish. In the morning, Zhu Ke had just stepped into the headquarters building of Jinshiguang Entertainment Group, and Alexander, who is the director of the president's office and chief assistant to the chairman, rushed over. Boss, you can count it, Alexander said excitedly. Hey, I said, buddy, I just finished my vacation. You won't have a lot of things to find me again. Zhu Ke held his forehead in desperation. Alexander smiled and nodded. So I often say that you are a wise boss. No, you guessed it right. As expected, after the short week of vacation, a lot of things have emerged that urgently need Zhu to deal with. Where's Victor? Zhu obviously intends to throw something to CEO Victor. Alexander whispered. Boss, the burden on Mr. Jones is already very heavy. As far as I know, from Christmas to now, for more than 3 months, Mr. Jones has only rested for less than 2 days. Zhu was dumbfounded. Yes, Victor Jones is tired enough. In fact, an entertainment company with a valuation of nearly tens of billions of things has to deal with every day is definitely not a small number. Just the summary of the affairs of various subsidiaries, it will consume a lot of effort. But, no matter how busy he is, Victor, who is the CEO, will not have time to take a vacation. The company is now in a critical period of rapid development, so all kinds of tasks are a lot more onerous. When the company enters a period of stable development, by then, whether it is me, Victor, or even any executive of the company, it can be a lot easier. At such an important time, it is simply unrealistic to want to be lazy. Zhu Ke sighed. In fact, there is another important reason. As the head office of Jinchuguang Entertainment Group, there are many vacancies in the senior management positions such as vice president, senior vice president, and executive president. According to the current size of Jinchuguang Entertainment Group, it must have at least 6 vice presidents, 2 senior vice presidents, and 1 executive president. Even if the staffing is doubled by 2 to 3 times, it is totally fine. However, the reality is that in the entire Golden Dawn Entertainment Group, there are only 2 vice presidents. They are Donna Langley, the president of the TV group, concurrently serving as the vice president of the group head office, Sister Martha, the chief financial officer of the head office, concurrently serving as the vice president of the group, senior vice president, vacancy, CEO, vacancy. The top and core management of the entire Golden Dawn Entertainment Group is seriously missing, boss. Since you acquired a group of film production companies, TV stations, and radio stations last year, it has indeed greatly supplemented the number and quality of middle and low-level management personnel. However, the top and core management of the entire Golden Dawn Entertainment Group has been seriously missing. This is an indisputable fact, Alexander said. Zhu Ke nodded heavily. Thanks to Zhu Ke's opening, the company's development speed far exceeds the speed at which the level of management personnel improves. The disadvantages are very obvious. Alexander, you collect information about the executives of major Hollywood companies recently, and at the same time, contact Heydrich and struggle to dig people. They are professional, Zhu Ke ordered. Yes, boss. Changing to a general group company and filing the top managers of the company absolutely needs to have meetings, persuasion, and compromise again and again, but Zhu Ke doesn't need it. He can make a decision in one word. Not long after, Zhu came to the office. Huh? These are, just sitting down behind the desk, Zhu saw a pile of newspapers neatly arranged on the desk, the contents of which were all defamation, derogation, and mockery of Zhu Ke Wald pictures. The film Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon was nominated for 10 Oscars, or came home unfailingly and missed the award. This is a report from Los Angeles news station. The article stated, as we all know, Wald Pictures, founded by Zhu Ke Wald, is indeed the top film company under the 6 major Hollywood movies. However, we can also find that they produce movies, mostly horror, commercial, and action movies. It can be described in one sentence: the movies they shot are popcorn movies. As for films that contain artistic value, humanistic value, and thought-provoking films, Wald Pictures doesn't have it. At the same time, Wald Pictures, which has been established for a short time, has not tried the operation of Oscar awards and is extremely lack of experience in awards. Therefore, it can be boldly predicted that the film Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon has a great possibility of failing at this year's Oscars. Rational analysis, shit, to put it all in 1,000 words. The editor of Los Angeles news station who wrote this article does not look down upon Zhu himself and Wald Pictures under Zhu's name. Alexander smiled. Boss, this article from Los Angeles news station is pretty good. The hips are not too crooked, but other media are not so polite. Zhu curled his mouth. I don't know it, but at a glance, it really is. California Herald, it's impossible for Wald Pictures to win an Oscar. It's impossible for at least 10 years. San Francisco Film News, Wald Pictures really lacks the experience of operating Oscar awards. In 1999, the animation film Finding Nemo, produced by the Waterworld Animation Company under the Golden Dawn Entertainment Group, was undoubtedly a very good animated film. It stands to reason that it is very possible to win the Oscar for Best Animated Series, but the result? Not even a nomination was made. Chicago Review. According to insiders, Zhu Ke Wald himself has repeatedly spoken in private, saying that he simply disdains the Oscars, and has repeatedly spoken out to the college people who voted. It directly attacked Zhu himself. There are a lot of slander reports like this on Zhu's desk. However, Zhu smiled slightly. That's it. Do these tabloids have this ability? Zhu Ke sneered and said, I thought they would say something and mess around. None of them grasped the main points. They were all things that bloggers' attention. The energy of these tabloids is almost worthless in Zhu's eyes. That is to say, Zhu Ke looks down on them. Otherwise, relying on the power of the media under Zhu Ke, It will not take long for these discordant voices www.wuxiaspit.com to disappear completely. The media tycoon Zhu Ke is not a vegetarian. Zhu Ke smiled and said, "The pressure is high. Solve these small problems before sunset today." "Okay, no problem, boss." Alexander was confident. The footsteps of the 73rd Oscar are getting closer. However, at this critical moment, there was a bad news from Europe that shocked and angered Zhu. Zhu Ke is extremely angry. In the original time and space, the future founder of the four companies Kazaa, Skype, Music, and Starship Technology, Nicholas Zenstrom, is the current president of Starship Technology under Zhu. He told Zhu Ke submitted a resignation report and will take away a large number of key members of Starship Technology. The first update is sent. Chapter 482, Trader. Europe Luxembourg Starship Technology Corporation. The company is a company owned by Zucker and is the only company headquartered in Europe. At the beginning of its establishment, the registered capital was $5 million. After a few years, it has gradually developed into a technology company with a valuation of $8 million. The main business is Kazaa Network Disk and Skype Network Phone. Kazaa Network Disk, Internet point-to-point transmission technology, similar to Baidu Network Disk, etc. Skype Internet Phone, the world's first internet communication method, and the world's largest internet phone. As of 2020, it has more than 120 million users. Of course, as of now, only the Kazaa Network Disk business has been put into operation, and it is still at a loss stage. Skype Internet Phone is only in the research and development stage, but, at such an important node, Nicholas Zenstrom, as the company's CEO, actually chose to leave. Moreover, as many as one-third of Starship Technology, with a total of 60 employees, will follow him to leave. Nicholas Zenstrom, you traitor. You are a despicable, shameless villain. Janice Fries, the company's vice president and director of R&D, was so angry that he almost pointed to his nose and cursed. What time is it now? It is an important stage in the research and development of Skype Network Phone. You, Nicholas, leave alone. I will never stop them, and there is no reason to stop them, even if you are the CEO of the company. However, you leave as soon as you leave. But why do you confuse a large number of key personnel to leave? You touch your conscience. Ever since Starship Technology was founded, has Mr. Wald treated you badly? CEO Nicholas was silent. He was speechless. Zhu was really good to him. Nicholas is a Swedish, born in 1966, and graduated from Uppsala University in Sweden with a double degree in business management and engineering physics. Since I was a child, I have been the genius in the eyes of my neighbors and the envy of countless classmates. In fact, this is also the case. In 1999, Zhu Ke hired her as the CEO of Starship Technology with high tech, and entrusted her with important tasks. The annual salary and benefits are all indispensable for option shares. Zhu Ke also promised that as long as the company is on the right track, he will never be stingy. To be honest, Zhu, who has always been a bit stingy, is definitely a good boss for him. But, not long ago, he got a promise from Barclays Bank. As long as you leave Zhu Ke Wald Starship Technology and can leave with a large number of key members, then you will not only be able to form a new company with an annual salary of £500,000, but also get 10% of the new company. This is the promise made by the British Barclays Bank of the United Kingdom, the second largest bank in the UK and the seventh largest bank in the world, has more than 100,000 employees worldwide. In 2020, it manages more than $1.75 trillion of funds, a proper financial giant. Hey CEO Nicholas looked at Janice and sighed. I'm sorry for the company. I'm sorry Mr. Wald. I owe you what I owe you. I will pay it back in the future. Upon hearing this, Janice immediately laughed angrily. What a payback? You are God with one hand and Satan with the other hand. Irony, naked irony. Nicholas had a cold face, and Ling Ling said, whatever you say, shopping malls are like battlefields. Never overestimate the ethics of a professional manager. As long as there is a sufficient price, anyone can betray. At the same time Zhu, who is as far away as Los Angeles, USA, also received the news from Vice President Janice. For the first time CEO Nicholas resigned. More than 60 key members of Starship Technology resigned. Starship Technology's key R&D project Skype Network Phone, due to lack of personnel, has fallen into a period of stagnation. British Barclays Bank disrupted the situation. Haha, Zhu smirked. What a Nicholas. What a Barclays Bank. This is riding on my Zhu's head and shit. Starship Technologies Kazan Network Disk. Its peer-to-peer technology will not be mentioned for the time being. Even in the future, it will be widely used by global internet companies, and it will not generate much commercial value. It will be a $50 million industry, but, however, Skype internet phone is very different. Even if the Skype network phone is strangulated by the giants of telecom and mobile operators during its operation, it will still survive tenaciously at a cheaper communication price. The number of users worldwide exceeds 120 million, which is not a joke. Skype internet telephony. The lower limit of development is a company with a market value of more than $3 billion. The upper limit of development can be described as immeasurable. The disruption of Barclays Bank and the betrayal of CEO Nicholas are completely destroying the foundation of Skype internet telephony. Industrial losses of billions, tens of billions of dollars. How can Zhu bear it? Suddenly, Zhu did not hesitate to call back a call to Janus, vice president of Starship Technology. Zhu said into the phone, "Janus, you must comfort the company's employees in the shortest possible time, and the Skype network call cannot be suspended. But, boss, I need funds, a capital investment of no less than $5 million. Janus said, $5 million? Haha. I'll give you $10 million, and the funds will arrive before the evening. Zhu said, are you confident now? Yes. Boss, I can make an oath to you now. With this capital investment, if I can't complete the task, then I won't have the face to see you. Janus was never a cringing person. 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Private lawyer, Zhang Wei, private financial advisor, Anna Josephine, Baggio List, one of the members of the think tank, and as many as 17 assistant team members, all gathered in the meeting room, waiting for Zhu's order. The departure of Starship Technology CEO Nicholas violated the employment contract. At the same time, he accepted funds from Barclays Bank and established a new company called Hodifi Information, which is also a peer-to-peer transmission software company based on the P2P platform, which undoubtedly violates the competition agreement under the international law. But this lawsuit is absolutely troublesome. Barclays Bank's influence in Europe and even in the global arena is definitely not something we can easily challenge. According to my estimation, the cost of the legal team for this international lawsuit will not be less than $10 million or even more. Even if we win this international lawsuit, we will not be able to get more than $1 million in compensation. Lawyer Zhang Wei made the analysis on the combined situation in the first time. Of course, this analysis is not illusory. It is the conclusion drawn by Zhang Wei and his team of lawyers after rigorous analysis. Ms. Anna Josephine, Ling Li said, this lawsuit must be fought. Yes, little Baggio List, echoed, everyone, you should know the importance of the Kazan network disks to Starship Technology. Even if this lawsuit takes a long time, we must hold back the pace of Hodifi Information. At least we can't let this guy Nicholas put himself into work the fastest. Although everyone despised Nicholas' character, they knew that this guy was a genius. Kazan network disk is very important. However, what Zhu really fancy is always the Skype network phone. Of course, Zhu would not say this. Zhu said in a final word, this international lawsuit must be fought. www.wuxiaspit.com. But there is a prerequisite, that is, the lawsuit must not be concluded this morning, and it must be held back. $10 million in legal fees, haha, isn't it just money? Zhu is not short of it, as long as the Skype network phone can be launched as quickly as possible, not to mention the cost of attorney fees of $10 million, which is 20 million or 30 million. Zhu will not hesitate at all costs. At the same time, as far as Luxembourg is in Europe, Willis King, the head of the investment department of Barclays Bank, personally led a large legal team here. Nicholas, the original CEO of Starship Technology, rushed to the airport to greet him. The second update is sent. Chapter 483, Zhu personally intervened. Mr. Willis King, welcome to Luxembourg. At the pickup gate at Luxembourg Airport, former Starship Technology CEO Nicholas was very excited. The group of people from the investment department of Barclays Bank who came with Willis King did not have much mood swings, but Willis King himself responded very enthusiastically, Nicholas, trust me, if you leave Starship Technology, you will get a bigger platform for you to fully display your talents. For Nicholas, Willis is still looking at it, especially the Kazan network disk that has just been put into operation, and its point-to-point transmission technology is absolutely leading the world, including Nicholas's departure from Starship Technology. Almost all Willis planned it. Not long everyone left the airport, arrived at a local 5-star hotel and arranged a series of suites in one of the largest presidential suites. Nicholas worried, Mr. Willis King, although I left Starship Technology, it is undeniable that when I signed the contract with Starship Technology, there was competition. Agreement. Based on what I know about Zhu Ke Wald, he will definitely sue me. Rest assured, Willis King smiled and said, you should believe that our Barclays Bank has this strength. His Zhu Ke Wald is indeed the most dazzling capitalist in the past decade, but his basic market is in the United States and Europe. On the one hand, either I look down on him or give him another 20 years. It is not our Barclays Bank opponent either. I'll tell you a little more. Before the internet broke out in 2000, we at Barclays Bank had targeted Nasdaq's internet stocks and technology stocks and invested more than $4 billion. But what's the result? The internet bubble burst suddenly. Under the rolling wave, the Nasdaq's one-day crash loss was as high as $3 trillion. We at Barclays Bank wanted to sell these stocks quickly and stop the losses in time, but a group of Wall Street speculators represented by Zhu Ke Wald shorted the stock market severely, causing us Barclays Bank to suffer heavy losses. Don't say it's me. Even at Barclays Bank's headquarters, there are many senior executives who have a lot of opinions on Zhu Ke Wald. The words were over. Nicholas breathed a sigh of relief. He has been working for Zhu Ke for several years, and he knows that Zhu Ke is strong. Relying on Willis King or even the investment department of Barclays Bank alone cannot stop Zhu Ke's anger. It's different now. Barclays Bank headquarters is involved, so there's definitely a huge advantage that can overwhelm Zhu Ke. Willis King suddenly said, don't worry too much. Starship Technology is just a tiny industry under the name of Zhu Ke Wald. The current valuation is $8 million. As long as Zhu Ke Wald doesn't get off the court personally, I alone can solve these problems. Nicholas nodded. You are right. Maybe I am too worried. In the years since Starship Technology was established, Zhu Ke has only visited twice at the same time, compared with other industries under Zhu Ke, whether it is LinkedIn, Standard Bank of California, or even the newly established Bayoke Game Company, which one is not much better than Starship Technology. Bang bang bang. At this moment, the people in the hotel suite were knocked, and their voices were very rapid. The visitor was a man named Tafo, who is Willis King's most dependent assistant. The big thing is not good. Zhu Ke Wald, who is far away in Los Angeles, personally intervened, and is now holding a press conference. As soon as these words came out, both Nicholas and Willis changed their faces. Nicholas exclaimed, how is this possible? Starship Technology is just a small company with a valuation of only $8 million. How can Zhu Ke Wald, a billionaire super rich, personally intervene? Willis's face was also very ugly. It shouldn't be. At the same time in Los Angeles, United States, Zhu Ke chose to hold a press conference as soon as he concluded discussions with a group of private teams. Now that he decided to fight this international lawsuit, Zhu Ke didn't mind making the matter bigger. On the other hand, Zhu Ke didn't want this eye-catching international lawsuit to end early, and tried his best to use the competition agreement to hold Nicholas's footsteps and not allow him to pay too much attention to Skype internet calls in the original time and space. The famous Skype network phone was indeed mainly developed by Nicholas Zenstrom and Janice Fries, but Nicholas Zenstrom mainly develops Kazaa network disk. The main hero of the Skype network phone is Janice Fries, who is currently the vice president of Starship Technology. I personally end up intervening, and it is bound to involve the headquarters of Barclays Bank. I want to make a signal, tell them that I attach importance to Starship Technology. More precisely, I attach importance to the point-to-point technology of the Kazaa network. They must be made to ignore and despise Skype network calls. Kazaa's peer-to-peer technology, although it will be widely used in the future, is destined to be a laborious loss-making thing. I want to guide them in this wrong direction. Skype internet phone, worth at least $3 billion existence, can only be mine. Of course, Zhu Ke also knew that he could not deceive and conceal it for too long. Both Nicholas himself and Barclays Bank are smart people. They can only fool them for a while, and it is not realistic to want to hide it for too long. There are too many smart people in this world. Well, very unfriendly. The scene of the press conference. Standing on the platform, Zhu Ke said in a loud voice in front of many media reporters, everyone, the content of today's press conference is not that I am going to make a movie again, nor is it the acquisition of a company, but the announcement that I will fight an international lawsuit. At the same time, it is also the first international lawsuit I have to fight since I started my business in 1995. As soon as the voice fell, all the media reporters on the scene fried the pot. What? Real or fake? Oh my god. Although Zhu Ke Wald is very young, he has always been quite tough, so someone dares to provoke him. For a time, many media reporters whispered to each other, with incredible expressions on their faces in movies, TV, music, finance, the internet, and so on. Zhu Ke can be said to be invincible. Time Warner, also a media giant, has also suffered several times in Zhu Ke's hands. It is no exaggeration to use the word dazzling to describe Zhu Ke. Barclays Bank, everyone, you heard me right. Zhuke's face is grim. www.wuxiaspit.com said loudly, the Starship technology company under my name, CEO Nicholas, resigned and took as many as 60 key members away and joined Horda, a subsidiary of Barclays Bank. Non-information companies, and those who left have a contract with a competition agreement. Too much bullying, just now. My team of lawyers have submitted litigation to the governments of Luxembourg and the United Kingdom, and also submitted an official letter to the National Court. I have settled this international lawsuit. Barclays Bank, the second largest bank in the United Kingdom and the seventh largest bank in the world, with more than $1 trillion in assets under management, it is a proper financial industry giant for a time. Many media reporters on the scene gasped, "God! Great, this is big news." Many reporters became agitated in the following time. The speeches of a group of lawyer representatives on stage made the reporters even more excited. The first update is sent. Chapter 484, Excited Media. It's not too big to watch the excitement. It's never the exclusive of the Oriental. Based on the special dependence relationship between the United Kingdom and the United States, there is not a small number of scams between the governments of the two countries, and the people of the two countries often despise each other. Britain claims to be an empire where the sun never sets, and is still immersed in the dream of the former world number one. The United States is not too worried. Today's world's most powerful country cannot look down upon those British people who call themselves gentlemen. This is not nowadays. After hearing Zhu Ke's words, the current media reporters are all excited and excited like a volcanic eruption, completely unstoppable. One is the newly emerging super-rich Zhu Ke Wald, and the other is the British financial giant Barclays. Now they are going to fight an international lawsuit. This is simply sending news materials to our media. A reporter was excited. "Tao, you are wrong," a female reporter next to him corrected. It was the lawsuit between Starship Technology and the original Starship Technology CEO Nicholas under Zhu Ke Wald, and it was not directly against Barclays Bank. Barclays Bank is not the defendant. When the voice fell, the surrounding media reporters immediately enjoyed themselves. New York Times senior reporter Josh smiled. "Little girl, are you just getting into the business?" The young female reporter nodded. Josh continued, "This lawsuit is indeed an international lawsuit of Starship Technology itself, but what we want is news hotspots." "Yes," another reporter added, "Starship Technology and Nicholas." "Haha, if it wasn't for Zhu Ke Wald to mention this, who knows? What the news hotspot wants is to get eyeballs." British Barclays Bank, the second largest bank in the UK, second only to HSBC, a proper financial giant. Zhu Ke Wald, the newly emerging super-rich, Hollywood movie tycoon, media tycoon, internet tycoon, financial superman. Starship Technology and Nicholas are both undocumented small characters. As long as we associate Barclays Bank with Zhu Ke Wald, this is definitely big news, New York Times senior reporter Joe Evans said. The young female reporter who had just entered the industry suddenly hesitated. She looked at the several senior colleagues around her in astonishment. Ahem. Josh coughed slightly, and solemnly said, "Furthermore, we are not made out of nothing, nonsense." The resignation of former Starship Technology CEO Nicholas, and took away 60 key members of Starship Technology to join Horda. The non-information company itself is the handwriting of Barclays Bank. The two giants collided and fought an international lawsuit. The corner of Josh's mouth rose up and added, "Tisk tisk on this news, we can follow and report for a week without stopping." Young female reporter. At this moment, the young female reporter felt tears in her eyes, and she felt that Josh was glowing. The surrounding media reporters, wherever they will care about the look of the female reporter. They just want to write the manuscript as soon as possible and publish it as quickly as possible. Grab the hot news and get more bonuses. Everything speaks with money. At dusk, a manuscript that was rushed out was written by a crowd of excited media reporters and quickly appeared in the media, arousing a lot of discussion among the people who eat melons. Not only that, mainstream public television platforms such as ABC, NBC, and CBS also reported the incident in the evening news program. The most amazing is the WBTV station under Zhu Ke's name, Little Baggio List, lawyer Zhang Wei, welcome to you, the head of WB Television Network, Avery Packett, Ms. Donna Langley has already told me. Don't worry, you two, I can cover all this matter. Of course, it's a one-week special report. There is no problem at all. Using media channels to criticize Barclays Bank of the United Kingdom is the advantage of Golden Dawn Entertainment Group. Zhu Ke is a media tycoon. There is great energy in both the United States and the United Kingdom, and the least fear is talkbaji. List said, "Thanks to President Packet for your cooperation. I believe that Mr. Wald will also appreciate your efforts." Lawyer Zhang Wei, President Packet, "This is some Barclays Bank information collected by our lawyer team. You can also expose it, understand, Barclays Bank's black material. Don't say it is not black, or pure white. I can make them black and not black." Avery Packet is not a mere mouthpiece. He has been in the media field for decades. He is simply not too proficient in spreading rumors, smearing, and exposing. The next day Luxembourg Willis King, Vice President of the Investment Department of Barclays Bank, heard a call from the UK headquarters shortly after getting up. A scolding call. "You idiot, Willis King, I tell you, you are in big trouble, and it has a great negative impact on our entire Barclays Bank." A reprimanding call from the headquarters made Willis King, who had just woke up, look dazed and confused. Mr. Kelly, don't worry, I will deal with these troubles as soon as possible. Willis King is not a fool. Of course he guessed its swearing guarantee. However, what he got was still a curse. Resolve as soon as possible? What will you do to resolve it? Don't forget that Zhu Ke Wald is a media tycoon with great energy in both the United Kingdom and the United States. Last night, there were countless newspapers and magazines covering this incident in the United Kingdom and the United States. What is annoying is the WBTV network, which exposed a series of news about our Barclays Bank. It is said that they are also preparing to make a special report shamelessly. Here, if you can solve it, it's too late. Speaking of the headquarters, Willis also shed a cold sweat from the moment Zhu personally stepped in and intervened. He knew that the key to the fastest resolution of this matter did not lie with Nicholas or with Willis, but with Barclays. "Sorry, Mr. Kelly," Willis said. "Humph." The other end of the phone snorted coldly. "Okay, don't worry too much. His Zhu Ke Wald is strong, and we are not vegetarians." The head office responded to it in the middle of the night. The impact of this matter is minimized. Upon hearing this, Willis was greatly relieved. He is not a fool. He knows one thing well, that being able to get Zhu to intervene in person must be because of the departure of Nicholas and the 60 backbones, which made him angry. But it just shows one thing: Zhu Ke attaches great importance to Kazan network disk. Barclays Bank had old grievances with Zhu Ke, of course, did not want to provoke, but now it is different. Knowing that Zhu Ke attaches great importance to the Kazan network disk, they think it is profitable. As long as there are huge interests, anyone can be an opponent, in a blink of an eye. It was already 9 o'clock in the morning. People in Britain and the United States are now in working hours, but they have discovered an interesting problem. The incident of Zhu Ke and Barclays Bank. www.uxiaspit.com has decreased a lot. The people eating melon were dumbfounded. However, media companies headed by Golden Dawn Entertainment Group and Friendly Cooperative Unit still report these things at 9 o'clock in the morning, as soon as the London Stock Exchange opened. Even though Barclays Bank made great efforts, many companies controlled by it still inevitably experienced a decline in share prices. "Damn it," an executive of Barclays Bank said angrily, "we have contained the media to the greatest extent, but Devon Capital under Zhu Ke's name is not easy to mess with. With the stock price falling, Devon Capital has to bear the greatest responsibility." The energy of Devon Capital in the financial field is of course far less than that of Barclays Bank, but with the influence of the media, Devon Capital is not a problem to fight a quick assault. The second update is sent. Thank you book friends and Soul24 for your reward. Cute. Chapter 485, Fast and Accurate Financial Assault. Assault war. With a huge amount of funds and the use of media power to clear the way, it caused a certain financial panic. Under the general trend, a financial war against one or more listed companies was launched. This is a financial assault war. This time, Zhu's Devon Capital spent as much as $900 million in funds, which really caught Barclays Bank by surprise. Devon Capital is arrogant enough, specifically targeting our listed companies under the Barclays Bank. However, with them alone, they can be up to 2 hours and have to die. Barclays Bank is very angry, but not afraid of it. However, the financial assault war launched by Wall Street has never been dominated by a company. No, the investment banks of Wall Street, large and small, see profit, so they almost all rush like sharks smelling blood. These large and small Wall Street investment banks, if it is just one of them, can spend up to $100 million, but the sum of the funds of a few, A dozen, and dozens of investment banks is enough. In addition, under the leverage of the futures market, let alone Barclays Bank, even the British government authorities, these investment banks dare to fight. For a time, the three major financial markets of the London Stock Exchange, the stock market, futures, and foreign exchange, were severely attacked, and the goal is very clear. Just stare at Barclays Bank. Damn it, these lunatics. If this is a protracted financial war, then we will definitely be able to win the final war, but these guys on Wall Street are all cunning foxes. No, they are extremely shrewd hunters. The gun ran away. After we reacted, we wanted to chase them away, but they would have run away long ago. The executives of Barclays Bank stomped angrily helpless. The most important thing is the reaction of local investors in the UK. They are not stupid either, seeing the situation wrong, one after another dumping their holdings in stocks and futures, causing a more vicious impact. Terrace, this is just because of a financial assault war launched by Wall Street and national speculators. It's just a short period of pain. We don't need to sell stocks and futures holdings, right? On the London Stock Exchange, Kieran, a novice in stock trading, told his companions that he did not agree with selling now. Haha. Hearing this, his companion Tallis smiled and said, pain and financial assault? Ask these veterans what they don't know. However, they still choose to sell now. Kieran, a novice stock marketer, Tallis explained, let me put it this way. This is a financial assault run by two major market makers and a number of financial companies, which caused a short-term decline. It is estimated that between 2 and 4, normalcy can be restored. However, what we individual investors have to do is to use these 2 to 4 hours to make a fortune. Don't forget, we individual investors, with small capital, only tens of thousands of pounds, hundreds of thousands of pounds to play with, not those oligarchs with large funds. It is difficult to turn around. We want to make money, of course it is tight. Follow the market and operate flexibly. Kieran, a novice stock marketer, suddenly realized nothing is more important than making money. As for Barclays Bank, the second largest bank in the UK, what matters to them? Anyway, they don't give them money, so they can only get it by themselves. The market continues to deteriorate, the value keeps falling. Zurich Scale Capital. A number of Wall Street investment banks, local individual investors in the UK, and even local investment banks in the UK are also involved. Barclays Bank is extremely wronged. 3 hours. This financial assault lasted 3 hours. It seems that the time is short, but such a short time has caused heavy losses to the major companies under Barclays Bank. The direct losses as high as $2.6 billion. At the same time, the vicious impact of this financial assault is more serious, which will cause continued turbulence in the financial market in the next 1 to 3 weeks, and indirect losses will be huge. The chief market analyst at Barclays headquarters bank quickly presented the data in front of a group of executives for a while. The atmosphere in the entire conference room became extremely solemn. It seems that water can drip out. Wall Street Flame Tank Investment Company is a medium-sized investment company on Wall Street, although it is not ranked on the entire Wall Street, or even the top 100, the company has a lot of annual profits each year, which is extremely impressive. Chairman Bartoy Williams smiled wantonly at a group of subordinates. Guys, just now, the senior manager of the New York branch of Barclays Bank Israel called me and said I would regret it. Haha, I will regret it if I have money but don't make it. Of course he does not regret it since Stefan Capital just launched a financial assault on the companies under Barclays Bank. He has chosen to enter the market very decisively and acted extremely resolutely. Of course, he also got rich returns in just 3 hours. The Flame Tank Investment Company made more than $16 million in profit. Barclays Bank is very strong, but it doesn't directly give me money, so why should I give them face? I really thought that a Barclays Bank's name could fool me? It's a joke. Wall Street One Customer Investment Company. The investment company is just a small investment company established less than 1 year ago. The owner Lemute is the youngest son of Clark Lemute, a veteran American real estate tycoon. This one really makes a lot of money. Little Lemute smiled. I started the #1 customer investment company with a mentality of having fun. As for whether it can make a profit, I never care about it. After all, I am not short of money. However, I really didn't expect it. In just a few hours, I made $7.5 million. Tisk tusk. This seems to be the first time in my life making money. How little Lim was so happy that he even bounced from his seat and waltzed in the office. Today, The Wall Street investment banks participating in this financial assault have as many as 39 companies, except for one or two greedy, unlucky ones who failed to exit in time. Almost all made a lot of money. Barclays Bank is very strong, but does it have a direct relationship with us? Yes, this time we followed suit. Not only made money, but also paid great win capital and Zhu Ke Wald. Yes, www.wooksyaspit.com. The Barclays banker is a big business. We just take the initiative to show our courtesy. And it may not be worthy of us. Mr. Wald's Gale Capital is different, precisely because of its size. Far less than Barclays Bank. It will need us more. As long as you can make money, who cares about those things? All the Wall Street investment banks are happy, of course. Zhu Ke's Defin Capital did not make less profit, and it made $58 million in 3 hours after Zhu received the news. He was also happy, and smiled. This is a joy. However, it really turned against Barclays Bank now, but who cares? As the facts say, Barclays has hated Zhu since then, including all the industries under Zhu. Of course, Zhu is not afraid of it. There are more enemies, so I don't care how many more, even Barclays Bank, which is a financial giant. The first update is sent. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 486, Destruction of the Empire. The $58 million in revenue is far from the huge profit of $1.3 billion in just one day by Zhu Ke using the Japanese Ehime incident last month. However, the Ehime incident, such as the financial market turbulence that evolved from political events, is after all unavoidable. The financial shock to Barclays Bank this time is an active act in terms of difficulty. It has naturally increased a lot, but the result, Zhu still succeeded. At the same time, Zhu Ke also used this assault war to send a signal to the outside louds is not easy to mess with. This time I was able to make a lot of money from Barclays Bank and hit it hard, which is enough to make people proud. Of course, something to be proud of. From beginning to end, Barclays Bank was not a pure commercial bank. Personal savings, business investment, asset management. These banks have their own strengths, let alone talk about them for the time being. Its Barclays Capital is the world's leading investment bank, providing financing and risk management solutions for large companies, institutions and government clients. Barclays Global Investors Company, Limited is one of the world's largest asset managers and a leading provider of investment management products and services. Barclays Wealth Management, which manages more than £40 billion of client funds. Barclays International Retail provides a series of banking services for corporate clients in countries throughout the Caribbean, including France, Spain, Portugal, Italy, Africa and the Middle East. Barclays Bank does not have too many subsidiaries such as Hodafe Information. There are as many as hundreds of directly controlled subsidiaries. The number of companies and companies participating in investment and shareholding is even more alarming. A rough statistics is no less than 500. Behemoth. This time the financial assault war, although the participation of a group of Wall Street investment banks has shared a lot of pressure on me, but they are not worthy of thanks. If there is no benefit, you can look at them one by one. They will definitely do the opposite. Of course, they joined my camp. In fact, it was also in the expectation of Anti-Chelip and I. Zhu Ke was slightly proud. However, the dispute between Zhu Ke and Barclays Bank has not completely ended. On the contrary, from another perspective, the war fortune has just begun with the resignation of Nicholas, the former CEO of Starship Technology. The international lawsuit of evolution has just begun. Both parties hate. It's not so exaggerated. In the adult world, the so-called hatred and contradictions between individuals and personal opinions, between companies and companies, are nothing more than entanglements of interests. Zhu saw it very clearly. The next day, as expected by Zhu Ke, this financial assault was widely reported by the British and American media. There are all kinds of speeches. Many media from Europe, Australia, Asia and other countries and regions also participated in this report. The name Zhu Ke Wald was once again mentioned by many people. Hollywood movie tycoons, media giants, internet giants, banking tycoons, venture capital upstarts. Zhu Ke's past resumes have been turned over one by one, and they have made the headlines of many media. This time, Zhu Ke gained some notoriety. After all, he used financial means to actively attack others. Don't care. Notoriety is sometimes a deterrent. On this day, Zhu came to Wald Pictures, Kevin, there are still 3 days left. It is the 73rd Oscar. We have to take back a few golden figures this time. We can't let the company's awards and honors become empty, Zhu said. Of course, Kevin Fitch said in a firm tone, boss, we are operating Oscars this time, and the pure money spent is no less than $11 million. This is because the parent company Golden Dawn Entertainment Group itself is a media group, and the price is a lot more favorable. Otherwise, the cost is definitely not less than $15 million, Zhu nodded. That's fine. The Oscar awards are, to put it bluntly, a money game. There is not a sufficient amount of money to make a way for the Best Film, Best Director, Best Actor and Actress Award, Best Foreign Language Film Award, etc. You don't even think about it fair and just listen. Don't take it seriously. An excellent film festival must first have commercial value before it can attract the attention of a broad audience, otherwise it will only become mediocre. Of course, pseudo-fairness and false fairness must also be controlled well, otherwise the film festival will easily be broken at this moment. Zhu looked at Kevin Fitch's steady performance and was really relieved a lot. Once upon a time, before the old Bill joined Wald Pictures, Kevin Fitch served as the acting president of Wald Pictures for a period of time, talking and doing things. He was very rough back then. Of course, it cannot be said to be bad, but compared to the CEOs of the Big Six and some of the top second-tier film companies in Hollywood, he is indeed far behind, and he is not at all satisfactory to Zucker today. He has finally grown up and will become more and more outstanding, boss. At this point, I must sincerely thank Mr. Micknick. Without his careful teaching, I am probably still the boy who used to be a hairy boy. Kevin Fitch also laughed immediately. Zhu smiled and waved his hand, and said with a smile, don't mention these. Let's talk about the gains of your German team. Not long ago, in February 2001, as the new president of Wald Pictures, Kevin Fitch was invited to participate in the opening of the Berlin Film Festival in Germany. Kevin Fitch attends the Berlin Film Festival and will naturally observe some movies to see if it can bring profit to Wald Pictures. Unfortunately, boss, I feel that the 3 major European film festivals are really declining nowadays, this time the German Berlin Film Festival. Whether it is the French film Intimate that won the Golden Bear Award, or the 17-year-old Bicycle that won the Silver Bear Award of the jury, an Italian class, movies such as You Are That One and Ghost City do not have enough commercial attributes to get high box office in the movie market. At the same time, none of the top executives of the 6 major Hollywood companies, above the vice president, attended this Berlin Film Festival and sent people in the past, but at most it was a department head. There was a trace of regret and remembrance in Kevin Fitch's tone. Zhu Ke smiled and said, so, your trip to Berlin this time is completely for nothing? Upon hearing this, Kevin Fitch shook his head immediately. It can't be said for nothing. I have reached an agreement with Anfang Heidemann, the president of Constantine Films in Germany. We intend to jointly produce a film about Hitler on the occasion of commemorating the 60th anniversary of the victory over the movie. The movie's title is Destruction of the Empire. Kevin Fitch said. Constantine Pictures, joint production and distribution, the movie Destruction of the Empire. Suddenly, Zhu was surprised others don't know the movie Destruction of the Empire. As a traverser, Zhu, isn't it clear? The film Destruction of the Empire, with a production cost of €13.5 million, may not be the best film in the 60th anniversary of the victory over, but it is undoubtedly the most well-known film, and at the same time, it is also the film with the highest commercial value. Among other things, the film achieved a box office score of more than €30 million in Germany. www.wuxiaspot.com, a German box office of €30 million. This is even the Avengers movie, which was difficult to obtain later. High box office. When Hitler heard that General Steiner had not launched an attack, Hitler roared angrily when he heard the head of state's anger in the film. This section is often borrowed by netizens, borrowing the head of state with subtitles for spoofing, and it became popular. The internet. It's impressive, Kevin Fitch said. Now the script is in the editing stage. At the same time, some historical materials of World War II Germany, especially the valuable materials that are secret, are also actively contacting the German government. This is something that our Hollywood studios cannot. Only they can do it. Zhu nodded. Precious historical materials are not local snakes, and they don't even have the qualifications to take a look. The second update is sent thanks to the book friend Woodford for the reward again. Chapter 487, Kevin Fitch is busy. It is easy to co-produce the movie Destruction of the Empire, but it is not that simple to complete a very good movie. The Destruction of the Empire. Precious historical materials are very scarce, especially the existing recording of Hitler's conversation. There is only one in the world, and it is stored in the German World War II Memorial in the original time and space. The only existing recording of Hitler's conversations provided a huge help for the actor Bruno Ganz, who played the actor Hitler in Destruction of the Empire. This recording records a private conversation between Hitler and Mannerheim on June 4, 1942. Hitler unexpectedly appeared to congratulate Mannerheim, President and Marshal of Finland, on his 75th birthday. This smartphone secretly recorded the conversation in the train. You know, Hitler does not allow private recording and photographing. In this recording of about 11 minutes, Hitler's whole state was very relaxed, his tone was calm, and he was not affected by the weakness of the war at all, and he described his views on war to Mannerheim. It wasn't until 1992 that this recording was discovered. Countless scientists and historians wanted to study it, but couldn't ask for it. Only speaking of this recording, Wald Pictures can't do it. On the other hand, Constantin Pictures, which is a German ground snake, has a great chance of being exposed to this recording. Kevin Fitch said. Hugh nodded and said, "That's right. You can be responsible for this matter, but I think Bruno Ganz is the candidate to play Hitler." Bruno Ganz, that Swiss, is the veteran actor Bruno Ganz in Under the Sky of Berlin. Kevin was surprised. He was indeed surprised enough. Although Europe is now moving towards integration, Switzerland and Germany are divided into two countries after all. It must be a very risky act for a Swiss actor to play Hitler. It's like letting a foreigner star in Monkey King. Monkey King, naturally it feels very contradictory. Boss, are you sure? Kevin asked. Hugh nodded. I'm pretty sure. Speaking of this, as a subordinate, Kevin Fitch naturally has no reason to refuse in the entire Wald Pictures. Zurich is the only master for Bruno Ganz to play Hitler in Destruction of the Empire. Zurich thinks it is very appropriate. There is no way. As a traveler, as long as you have seen the version of Destruction of the Empire in the original time and space, you know that he has accomplished extremely outstanding. Bruno Ganz himself is also quite dedicated. In order to play Hitler well, he studied Parkinson's patients in a Swiss hospital for 3 months. Note, Hitler had Parkinson. In the ensuing time, Zurich and Kevin Fitch made further communication on the movies that will be released in the near future and the movies that are being shot. The film Shark Beach will be released in April 2001. The films District 9 and The Queen Wearing Prada have just finished their filming cycle and are undergoing intense post-production. They are expected to be completed by the end of April. Both movies will be released in this year's summer archive. Many films such as Furious Attack and Fast and Furious are still in the shooting cycle, and their release dates are undetermined. Many movies such as Dancing Out of My Life and Reaper is Coming 2 are in the script writing stage, and the release date is too early. At the same time, Wald Pictures, as a film company integrating film production and distribution, will not only undertake the films produced by Wald Pictures itself, but also the film distribution of some small and medium-sized Hollywood film companies. These large amounts of work, even if there is a dedicated person in charge, still need Kevin Fitch to be in charge. In addition to these, the Spider-Man movie has just been released from the theater market in various countries and regions. I have to consider the sales of DVDs and videotapes, and the broadcasting of TV platforms. Kevin Fitch complained, he has been eager to be the president of Wald Pictures more than once, but the glory of his position brings not only rights, but more responsibilities. Kevin Fitch has shifted his hairline quite a bit recently. Boss, there is one thing I need your support. Suddenly, Kevin Fitch posed a question. You said, Zhu Ke responded. Kevin Fitch said, boss, you added a High School Musical script to the company's script library. I have seen it, a great music series TV movie. However, the problem is also coming. The broadcast platform of this High School Musical TV movie must be on our group's own TV platform. These little actors who starred in the film, I dare not say that they will be an instant hit, but they will definitely get a lot of money. Reputation. Therefore, I do not recommend using actors provided by agencies such as CAA, William Morris, etc. We can select small actors and young people who have never entered the entertainment industry, and set up a younger management department. Hearing this, Zhu Ke was taken aback. Choose those little actors and young people who have never entered the entertainment industry. Understood. After a few seconds, Zhu couldn't help but excitedly said, similar to the operation of Disney princesses and princes. Yes. Kevin Fitch nodded heavily. The entertainment circle of the Great Heaven Dynasty and the entertainment circle of the United States are quite different. In the brokerage company in the entertainment circle of the Great Yuan Dynasty, the film company itself will gather a large number of newcomers, second and third line actors. Even popular actors, or old celebrities and queens, but Hollywood actors, their economic contracts are basically in the hands of professional agencies, not film companies. Both have their pros and cons. In the big celestial market, the film company that holds the actor's agency contract can reduce the production cost to the greatest extent in terms of actor funding, but the actors required are often not the most suitable. In the entertainment industry in the United States, professional economic companies will seek higher pay for actors when discussing actors' pay. Film companies will pay more money accordingly. However, the scope of selecting actors is no longer limited to one company, but the entire American actor market. Therefore, as far as the current Wald Pictures is concerned, it has not signed any economic contracts in terms of actors and directors. The environment is so, not to mention Wald Pictures, Hollywood studios, large and small, and hundreds of film companies, basically the same. Of course there are exceptions. Anne Hathaway, Lindsay Lohan, Zac Efron, hundreds of well-known Hollywood movie and TV series stars later came out of Disney's star-making factory. They were already Disney actors when they were underage, or even 7 to 9 years old. In this regard, Disney has done quite successfully and is the best in the United States. Warner is no match for this aspect. www.wooksiaspit.com. The establishment of this new department will definitely have a bearing on the future development of our Wald Pictures' great significance. Kevin Fitch suggested again, what can Zhu Ke say? Of course I agree. Don't forget, Zhu Ke is a traverser. In terms of vision, well, to be precise, in terms of opening and closing cheating, no one can match the Hollywood goblins who became famous in the 21st century. But there are quite a few. In the afternoon of the same day, Zhu himself received a call from Felix Luca, the vice president of Adidas Group's German headquarters. He accepted Zhu Ke's invitation and agreed to be the leader of Zhu Ke's sports kingdom. The first update is sent. Mid-Autumn Festival and National Day are here. I wish you all a happy holiday. Chapter 488, Adidas, I feel like a beeping dog. Germany. Herbert Heiner, the new CEO of Adidas Group, is sitting in the office at the moment, looking at the vice president Felix Luca in front of him, very entangled. Luca, are you sure you want to leave? Give up the position of vice president of Adidas Group, give up this glorious job, and devote yourself to a job with an uncertain future. Herbert had a solemn expression on his face. Yes, Luca nodded heavily and said, although I am full of reluctance to leave Adidas, but I believe that this trip to the United States will be a new challenge of greater significance for me. Do not regret the decision made today. Herbert sighed and shook his head again, his expression full of dismay. He desperately didn't want Luca to leave. Do you really stop thinking about it? You know, as of this year, you have worked for Adidas for 7 years, and you have served as the vice president for more than 3 years. As long as you work for 1 more year, you will get group's option awards, but now you have chosen to leave. Man, don't say anything else. You will lose at least 5 million euros if you lose money alone. Of course, I also believe that relying on your ability, even if you leave Adidas, you will not be mediocre. You will still achieve great success. However, as far as I am concerned, I absolutely don't want you to leave, Herbert babbled, his face full of regret. Compassionate to subordinates, smart and capable, these are the impressions of Adidas middle-level managers, including external investors, about Herbert. Don't look at Herbert in January this year, just took office as the CEO of Adidas, but in the future, he will become the longest-serving CEO of the Adidas Group, 2001-2016, 10 years of tenure. In 2017, even after Herbert left Adidas, he was also a director of many German companies. In 2019, he became the top leader of the German football hegemony club Bayern Munich. But now, Luca didn't give Herbert any good face, and sneered, I can't bear to leave? Don't be kidding. For my departure, you probably would have been happy for my departure, Herbert. At this moment, the expression of the newly promoted CEO Herbert suddenly froze. Luca, we've known friends for years, how can you say that? Herbert solemnly said. Luca looked straight at Herbert and said solemnly, friend, just you? There are no outsiders here, so don't talk with that hypocritical face, okay? You know, it's disgusting. After a pause, Luca did not give him a chance to refute, and continued, as early as the beginning of 2000, I noticed the Under Armour sporting goods company and wanted to buy shares or acquire it as soon as possible. However, it is you who are extremely hypocritical. Guy, it dragged on for a whole year. What are your thoughts? Do you really think I don't know? Baggio, Panzi, Alfaro, Milito, and me, you said, in order to get this position under your ass. How many people did you use for us? Even now, you have won everything and become a winner. However, you still speak with this disgusting hypocritical expression. Do you find it interesting? Generally speaking, in Luca's position, even if there are complaints in private, there will not be too many repetitions in person, and everyone will have to pass the scene. However, Luca has thrown away all these acting on the scene style at the moment, and he wants to vomit now. Humph! New CEO Herbert's hypocritical expression disappeared at this moment, his eyes fixed on Luca like cold knives. And coldly snorted, "The workplace is the battlefield, and we pay attention to success and failure. We all speak with performance." The shareholders of the Adidas board of directors are very aware of Herbert's true character, but they are also very aware of Herbert's abilities as long as it can bring higher performance to Adidas. The board of directors will support Herbert from 2001 to 2011. During Herbert's tenure as CEO of Adidas Group, Adidas global sales volume doubled 1.4 times and its profits doubled, but in 2014, Adidas's annual profit plummeted 27%. In 2016, the United States, which occupies the main market of Adidas products, had more than a quarter of the market share and was snatched away by Under Armour, who came from behind ever since. The unbearable Adidas board of directors kicked away Herbert, who had made great contributions. Luca, Herbert, I will not forget your care for me. Look at it, I will let Under Armour rise and seize the Adidas market. Guess, those people on the Adidas board of directors will you continue to be the CEO? You? Herbert was full of anger. Luca ignored Herbert's anger at all, and slammed the door straight out. His whole expression was extremely wanton. Since then, Felix Luca, the vice president of Adidas, a sports talent who has made great credit, has left Adidas. His next stop will be Zhu Ke's banner. Soon after, the shareholders of Adidas board of directors also received news of Luca's resignation. Suddenly, every shareholder and shareholder representatives became angry. Zhu Ke Wald is shameless enough. Who said no? A few days ago, Nicholas, CEO of Starship Technology, a company owned by Zhu Ke Wald, resigned. He did a big deal with Barclays Bank. To this end, he launched a targeted financial assault. But now, he is following the example of Barclays Bank, digging into our corner, completely ignoring the existence of the competition agreement. Shameless. Yes, he is more shameless than Barclays Bank. One by one, the upper-class rich people who always have a friendly expression on weekdays. At this moment, my brother verbally criticized Zhu Ke and yelled at him. Of course, their hearts are more like a beeping dog. Adidas is still quite optimistic about Zucker's Under Armour sporting goods company. For this reason, it agreed to let Luca go to the United States, and it brought a lot of sincerity. However, the result, the acquisition failed to succeed. Luca, who presided over the acquisition, was abducted. You said www.uxiaspit.com. What is this called? A shareholder cursed. A crowd of shareholders and shareholder representatives nodded one after another. Although they cursed Zhu Ke, they did not mention any words of revenge. Have no idea. Adidas is one of the world's largest sports giants, which is true, but Zhu's financial assault war launched against Barclays Bank not long ago scared him. Zhu Ke Wald doesn't even care about the Barclays Bank, which is a giant in the financial sector, let alone us. Said a shareholder representative. The less trouble, the better. Get back in revenge. Go to hell. Zhu's horrible name is sometimes very deterrent. The second update is sent. Chapter 489, Wald Family Foundation. March 24th, with 1 day left before the 73rd Oscars ceremony, Felix Luca, the former vice president of Adidas, has already gone through the resignation procedures and arrived in Los Angeles smoothly. Zhu personally greeted him at the airport. This move really moved Luca. Mr. Luca, as far as I know, this is the first time he has gone to the airport to greet others since I followed a boss. Mr. Keter Jones failed to receive this courtesy from the boss. At the VIP exit of the airport, Baggio List, a member of the think tank, said this. Luca couldn't help being touched even more. Zhu angrily said, "Little Baggio, what do you say about this? Felix can give up Adidas' superior job and status and join me," let alone greeted him at the Los Angeles airport in person. "I just ran to Germany and took him all the way. It is only natural to take it over, boss." Mr. Luca, I'm sorry, I was too much talking. List's words were full of apologetic. However, Zhu was actually quite happy, to put it bluntly. Zhu and List are both pretending to sing and harmonize. Felix Luca is not a fool. He can see it. However, Luca resigned from Adidas, and felt more or less unwilling. After all, that was where he had struggled for many years. How could he have no feelings? Furthermore, joining the newly established sports kingdom under Zucker's banner. Even if he is very confident, he will still be a little confused and at a loss at this time. Zhuke's high-level courtesy, coupled with such heartwarming words, what can Luca say? He eats this set very much now. Thanks, thank you very much. Everything I say now is false. I believe I will create greater wealth for Mr. Wald. Luca clenched his fists, and the whole person was suddenly full of excitement. Don't talk about it now. Zhu Ke smiled and waved his hand, and said, the hotel has already arranged for you. Work is not busy for now. You should take a good rest and relax for a few days. I have to say that Zhu Ke, as a capitalist now, is very handy when it comes to buying people's hearts. No. I don't need to rest now. Mr. Wald, when I left Adidas, I pointed to Adidas CEO Herbert's nose and said, I will definitely lead Under Armour to rise, defeat him, and remove him from the CEO's kickdown on the throne. Luca solemnly said, time is not waiting, Mr. Wald, the rhetoric. For this reason, Zhuke is not good at rejecting him. Zhu Ke, in that case, Baggio, you immediately call lawyer Zhang Wei and ask him to rush to the hotel. Yes, boss. Not long after, Zhuke and his party arrived at the hotel where Luca was about to stay. In the hotel suite, Zhu Ke and others had a long discussion. 1. Established Pasha Sports Group, fully responsible for Under Armour Sporting Goods Company, Manchester City club of the Premier League, and plans to acquire the NBA Warriors in the future. 2. Under Armour Sporting Goods Company and Manchester City club of the Premier League are currently subsidiaries of the Golden Dawn Entertainment Group. In the next 2 to 3 months, Zhu Ke will start a restructuring plan to spin off Under Armour Sporting Goods Company and Manchester City club of the Premier League from Golden Dawn Entertainment Group, making them a subsidiary of the newly established Pasha Sports Group. 3. In the next 3 months, Zhu Ke will gradually inject capital into the establishment of Pasha Sports Group, with a total amount of up to $100 million. 4. While giving Felix Luca the position of CEO of Pasha Sports Group, he was given the status of director of the Wald Family Foundation. There are as many as 20 such clauses for Pasha Sports Group. The word Pasha is derived from the name of Zhuke's deceased mother. Like the Pasha Hotel on the periphery of Zhuke's #1 shooting base, it was named Pasha. At the same time, the newly established Pasha Sports Group will become in existence under Zhu Ke and Jin Shuguang Entertainment Group. Zhu Ke has high hopes for the newly established Pasha Sports Group. Mr. Wald, oh no, boss, what's going on with the Wald Family Foundation? Luca wondered. Zhu Ke explained with a smile, you know, whether it is the Golden Dawn Entertainment Group or the newly established Pasha Sports Group, I value it very much. And the shares I hold in these two companies are more or less will be transferred to the Wald Family Foundation. The words were only half said, but Luca understood Golden Dawn Entertainment Group, Pasha Sports Group, Gale Capital, California Standard Bank, LinkedIn. These companies are definitely the most important industries under Zhuke, but it is foreseeable that in the future, the most important thing under Zuckers must be the Wald Family Foundation. Through the Wald Family Foundation, Zhuke will control all of its industries, including other companies that hold some shares. The directorship of the Wald Family Foundation is undoubtedly Zhu Ke's value to Luca. The core position, Baggio list, a member of the think tank, couldn't help but envy. Mr. Luca, you have served as the director of the Wald Family Foundation, so as long as it is an industry under the name of Mr. What a great position. Zhang Wei, the lawyer in charge of drafting the contract, also said immediately, as far as I know, even Mr. Wald's first general, Mr. Victor Jones, has not yet been awarded the board of directors of the Wald Family Foundation. I believe that when the news comes out, they will definitely be very jealous. Luca nodded heavily. He knew that Zhuke valued him, but he never thought that Zhuke would value him so much. If you treat me as a scholar, I will repay you with a scholar. Of course, as a German, Luca could not say this, but the meaning was the same. Zhuke smiled again. Unzin Luca. I can't guarantee you anything, but what I can offer you is my infinite trust. I see www.wuxiaspit.com. Luca took a deep breath. Since then, Zhu Ke has owned two core industries, namely Golden Dawn Entertainment Group as a film and television media, and Pasha Sports Group as a sports operation. The Wald Family Foundation, needless to say, it is definitely Zhu Ke's top priority. Now, the entire Wald Family Foundation is just an empty shell, but the future will definitely be a gathering of talents. Similarly, I am the only one in the entire Wald family now, but in the future, I am definitely full of children and grandchildren. Zhu Ke has a plan in his heart, that is, to have children in the future. Never give up without having 7 or 8 children. Otherwise, who will inherit the country I lay down? The first update is sent. Chapter 490. Two people who are completely shameless. March 25, 2001, 4 p.m. It is less than 90 minutes before the Oscars ceremony officially begins. However, at this moment, the red carpet outside the venue is completely lively since noon. There have been fan groups from all over the world, and as many as tens of thousands of people have gathered outside the venue. However, there are very few fans who are lucky enough to enter the infield. So what? As long as I can see my favorite actor Tom Hanks win the actor again for the first time, I feel very happy. No, Tom Hanks is sure to be useless this time. That is to say, Tom Hanks has won 2 Oscars for Best Actor awards in a row. This time the probability of winning is not high. I think that the protagonist of Gladiator, Russell Crowe, he has great probability of winning. He, who pays attention to male actors? It's funny, Julia Roberts has always played a role of silly white sweet. This time she has completely subverted the previous image in the Never Compromise movie. She is very likely to win the Best Actress award. A crowd of fans from afar were discussing vigorously, although many of them came purely with a mentality of watching the excitement, but in such a lively atmosphere at the scene, they could not help but be deeply infected at the same time. Hollywood Film Weekly, The Venetian Film, Berlin Film Weekly, Los Angeles Entertainment News and many other well-known media have come to the scene to get first-hand fresh entertainment information and many more. Los Angeles Entertainment, Zhuke's dog leg, regardless of the fact that it often reports lace news and false reports. The number of defendants in court in 2000 was no less than 20 times, and it was Zhuke's dog leg. But it is definitely a popular entertainment in the United States media. The entertainment paparazzi under the Los Angeles Entertainment is also one of the most powerful paparazzi teams in Hollywood. Ahem. At this moment, the editor-in-chief of Los Angeles Entertainment, Andre, looked at several reporters and photographers under him with a serious face, and said, "I emphasize it again. This time we are reporting on the main task of the Oscars. It's not anyone who won. Remember, your eyes must always be on Mr. Zhu Ke Wald." For a while, several reporters and photographers from the Los Angeles Entertainment couldn't help but look at each other. The female reporter Daisy frowned and said, "Editor-in-chief, it is unavoidable for us to do it like this. It's too shameless, isn't it?" The editor-in-chief Andre said it for her and sarcastically said, "Face? Then you can switch careers as soon as possible. Do you know how much the company under Mr. Wald invested in advertising for our newspapers throughout last year? Advertising fee." Hearing this, no one spoke. Even the female reporter Daisy closed her mouth tightly. The Oscars ceremony is indeed an entertainment event, but it happens every year. We report less once. What's the deal? Compared to the advertising fee provided by Mr. Wald, it is worthless. Without the large advertising fee provided by Mr. Wald, would you get that much bonus at the end of last year? Without the support of Mr. Wald, can we obtain first-hand information about the industries under Mr. Wald? In a word, Mr. Zhu Ke Wald is our Los Angeles Entertainment parent of food and clothing. It's our mom and dad. It's the God we most believe in. Andre, the editor-in-chief of the Los Angeles Entertainment News, spoke for a full 3 minutes. It was a blood-boiled and impassioned. The female reporter Daisy, who was still somewhat emotional, now only feels her head is congested and she is extremely excited. Oscars? Go to hell. A group of Hollywood celebrities, production company bosses, all go away. As long as Mr. Wald is happy, don't we have what we want? Daisy yelled inwardly. The same scene happened not far from the reporter of Los Angeles Entertainment! California Entertainment News, as one of Zhuke's doglegs, California Entertainment is also not to be outdone. Ryder Stanley, an American billionaire, the owner of the California Entertainment News, and one of the most famous paparazzi reporters in the United States in the early years, is now on the front line in order to lick Zucker, and once again picked up the camera. "Guys, did you see Andre, the editor-in-chief of Los Angeles Entertainment News? Look at him, his blood is boiling. Shame? Are you ashamed? Do not. I think his Andre is brilliant now. Lick, what? As long as you have the dream of eager success, then you must regard Andre as an example. Only when you put your face down and go out, you can get everything you want to have. Listen, he said so well. As long as Mr. Wald is happy, then we can succeed." Ryder Stanley is also completely shameless now. However, Ryder Stanley spoke too loudly, completely disregarding other people. The reporters of other media and newspapers around, unconsciously stayed away from them. Shame, shame. Shame to be with you. The California Entertainment News and the Los Angeles Entertainment News are too embarrassing. They just licked for the sake of licking. They didn't do any facial modification work. Naima is too shameless, the Boston Entertainment reporter whispered. One sentence other reporters also scolded. However, writer Stanley smiled slightly, not caring about others' attack. Similarly, Andre, the editor-in-chief of the Los Angeles Entertainment News, even gave a thumbs up and smiled contemptuously at the reporters who were far away from them for a time. The reporter positions of the Los Angeles Entertainment News and the California Entertainment News became a place where people hated dogs. Shame to be with you, but there are some media colleagues who expressed their envy. Salt Lake City Entertainment News reporter Joey said very enviously, "Why is Mr. Wald not in Salt Lake City? We in Salt Lake City only have steel and thick black smoke." UTFQ reporter said, "I am envious. As far as I know, the average weekly salary of California entertainment reporters is at least $900 higher than ours. Especially the bonus. I heard more www.wooksyaspit.com much more than us." Reporter Joey nodded, curled his lips and said, "If that's not the case, they would be so willing to lick the dog. It's probably the same after changing me. As a California entertainment and a billionaire, writer Stanley is not only the high advertising fee that Zhu provides each year. At the beginning of 1999, writer Stanley resolutely invested $15 million into the Nasdaq stock market. Under Zhu's suggestion, he made a profit. At the beginning of 2000, when the internet bubble was about to explode, it was also Zhu Ke's repeated admonitions that writer Stanley quickly got out of the stock market. "What is the advertising fee?" Writer Stanley looked at the red carpet in front of him and murmured, "Mr. Wald can make me a fortune if he misses a little bit, licking the dog. I'm set." The second update is sent. Chapter 491, Provocation on the Red Carpet. The red carpet session on the eve of the Oscars ceremony has always been the focus of fans' attention, popular events reported by the media, and a place where actors and actresses compete for beauty one by one. The beautifully dressed and extremely alternative actresses just stepped on the red carpet, and they attracted a lot of camera caca. Jennifer Lopez, she is a good example of the clothes are not surprising and the death is endless. As a well-known Hollywood singer and actress, Jennifer Lopez wore a Chanel backless dark green top with wide gussets when attending the Oscars. At first glance, it seemed much more elegant than last time, but on closer inspection, there is something inside this garment. The top is transparent, and Lopez didn't wear underwear ever since. The media and fans on both sides of the red carpet were suddenly excited. Sure enough, this is Jennifer Lopez's style. Bold enough. Who said no? I'm sure Jennifer Lopez is definitely the most outstanding one in this year's Oscar red carpet catwalk. The discussion is endless. The flashes shot by the camera are endless. "Lopez, why did you choose this dress?" a female reporter asked anxiously. Lopez smiled and replied, "Just because I like it. This dress makes me feel very design ideas." The female reporter asked again, "Well then, I would like to ask you, which well-known fashion designer designed this beautiful dress with design ideas?" Hearing this, Lopez smiled. "It's not designed by a well-known fashion designer, but I designed it myself." One stone stirred up 1,000 waves when filming. The reporters around did not forget to record Lopez's words. After all, they had to write manuscripts when they went back, but several reporters also curled their lips in disdain. California entertainment boss writer Stanley sneered. The female reporter who just asked about the 8 achievements was arranged by Lopez himself. Also asking about well-known fashion designers, isn't it just to increase her popularity? Andre, the editor-in-chief of the Los Angeles Entertainment News, echoed, "I know some news." It is said that Lopez intends to open her own clothing brand. Tisk tusk. Sure enough, she used Oscar as her advertising space. The two looked at each other and smiled. Sometimes there is a tacit understanding between the old fox and the old fox, between licking the dog and licking the dog. Julia Roberts, the Best Actress nominee for this year's Oscar, is also very dazzling, a black Valentino dress with white geometric lines. At the same time, Julia's hair dyed black was turned into a smooth bun like Audrey Hepburn when she appeared on the red carpet. She was applauded. No way. Who made her famous enough? Julia Roberts, one of Hollywood's most famous actresses at the beginning of the 20th century, was also the first Hollywood actress to enter the $20 million club with a solo salary, especially this time for the Oscar for Best Actress award. Her voice is very loud. Writer Stanley, if not surprising, she is the winner of this year's Oscar for Best Actress. Agree. Andre, the editor-in-chief of the Los Angeles Entertainment News, nodded and said, "Universal Pictures, the producer of the film Never Compromise, didn't make much effort this time. At the same time, I also heard that Julia Roberts was able to get it smoothly. For the Best Actress award, she herself invested no less than $3 million in operating funds, the Oscar award, from beginning to end. It is a money game. Time is passing slowly at this time. The appearance of director Steven Soderbergh directly brought the atmosphere of the scene to peak. Director, behind-the-scenes worker, old man, haha, so what? The most eye-catching person of this year's Oscars is not the actors and actresses who are vying for beauty, nor is it the boss of a film company like Zucker, nor is it the famous directors like Spielberg and James Cameron. It is precisely him, Steven Soderbergh. In 2000, the films Never Compromise and Drug Network, directed by Steven Soderbergh, won excellent results in the box office market and became the most popular movies of this year's Oscars. The movie Never Compromise won 7 Oscar nominations in one fell swoop. The movie Drug Network won 5 Oscar nominations. In addition, the 5 films nominated in this year's Oscar for Best Picture awards, Never Compromise and Drug Network, were shortlisted this year's Oscar for Best Director award. He is also one of the highest voices currently. Director Soderbergh, as far as I know, you and George Clooney jointly established your own film company, District 8 Films. Moreover, the location of the company is next to Wald Pictures. Do you feel pressured? A reporter asked. This topic undoubtedly interests many media reporters. What is the existence of Wald Pictures now? Lola Run, Junia, Fatal Corner, Human Removal Project, Spartan 300, Spider-Man, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Wald Pictures, which has only been established for 5 years, has produced many excellent films. It is no exaggeration to say that Wald Pictures is now the #1 company under the Big Six in Hollywood. The old film company, MGM, Spielberg's DreamWorks, these once prominent film companies are now developing momentum, which one can compare to Zuke. The most important thing is that Zuke, the boss of Wald Pictures, is quite rich. This guarantees the power of the sustainable development of Wald Pictures to the greatest extent. There may be a little pressure. Director Steven Soderbergh, faced with many reporters' shots, smiled and said, "If it comes to high-level commercial productions, I will definitely have a hard time catching up with Wald Pictures. After all, Spider-Man and Ha, the 2 successful cases of Liberty, are the first, but, if it's mentioned about winning, then I'm not welcome." As we all know, since the establishment of Wald Pictures, it has never been able to win any trophies in mainstream awards such as Oscars, Golden Globes, and Saturn Awards. Steven Soderbergh's tone is very flat. Is it objective? Very objective, but the words are still full of contempt for Wald Pictures. The implication, Wald Pictures, which is full of copper smell, can only shoot commercial films and horror films, which has tarnished the art of film. Steven Soderbergh looked at the excited media and added, "I don't mean anything to belittle Wald Pictures. Don't write anything. Of course, you also know what I'm talking about. Fact. It is said that the honor showroom of Wald Pictures is still empty. Do something." The reporter who asked the question was so happy. I knew it. The reporters who interviewed me around were also very excited. As reporters, things like rapport, hello, me, hello, and so on are the most annoying to them. They like to engage in things and conflict. The topic is the heat. Without the heat, how can our entertainment news industry make money? A group of media reporters simply love Steven Soderbergh, but www.wuxiaspit.com, as Zuke's loyal dog-licking media, California Entertainment and Los Angeles Entertainment, are a little unhappy, pretend to be confused. Andre, the editor-in-chief of the Los Angeles Entertainment News, said with contempt. He said this because he wanted to increase the popularity of his newly established film company in the 8th District. Ryder Stanley, the owner of California Entertainment on the side, deeply agrees. He wants to step on Mr. Wald to the top. Steven Soderbergh is not afraid of Zuke because he has a very good relationship with Universal Pictures, one of Hollywood's top 6 since the beginning of this year. Universal Pictures has given Zuke a loophole and digging people. I don't know if it's a coincidence. Steven Soderbergh just finished answering the reporter's question. The organizer arranged the order, and the next person on the red carpet was officially Zucker. The first update is sent. Chapter 492, Zuke is here. Now on stage are the well-known Hollywood screenwriter and gold medal producer Mr. Zhu Ke Wald, and the well-known actor Viggo Mortensen. The outfield host on the red carpet said loudly, Zuke, the nation's super rich, is also known as the walking hotspot. Viggo Mortensen, a well-known actor. As early as a few years ago, he had collaborated with Zucker and starred in the role of King Leonida in 300 Spartans. Of course, He came to the Oscars this time mainly to promote the movie The Lord of the Rings, Fellowship Squad. In the movie, he is not the male number one, but the role of Aragorn, which is also full of weight. The arrival of Zhu Ke and actor Viggo Mortensen immediately attracted the attention of most people on the scene, whether it is a media reporter or a group of movie fans. Steven Soderbergh. At this moment, the media reporters beside the director Steven Soderbergh are only a handful of reporters, and the rest have long focused on Zhu Ke, of course. Zhu is the main one. Mr. Wald. Hello. I'm Ryder Stanley, a reporter from California Entertainment. Before asking your questions, I would like to wish the movies Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Spider-Man and Harry Potter 3 films could win Oscars. All the reporters are very fast, but where did they pass the paparazzi? Born Ryder Stanley faster. Furthermore, as Ryder who licks the dog, he is a cruel man who said nothing is important, only Mr. Wald is the most important. Early on for Zhu's order of appearance, what he knows is a thorough MMP. Andre, the editor-in-chief of Los Angeles Entertainment News, didn't grab the first place, and now he's a little unhappy the other reporters slandered. It's really shameless, and I introduced myself in a whole place? The people in the media circle we are present, who doesn't know that you have known each other for several years? A middle-aged reporter couldn't help but be speechless. That's right, a female reporter next to him also said, this fellow Ryder Stanley, in order to curry favor with his master, this is completely shameless. Just this, return a billionaire. Having said that, the faces of these reporters are always full of smiles, who can't live with money anymore. In addition to being seen by media reporters and fans on the scene, ABC TV, which is the broadcasting platform for this year's Oscars, also broadcasted it unobtrusively and presented it to tens of millions of viewers. What? Who is he? What is the origin of this Zhu Ke Wald? The moment he set foot on the red carpet, he stole the limelight of the great director Steven Soderbergh. Yes, Julia Roberts, who has the highest voice for the best actress who appeared on the stage not long ago, failed to make the reporters at the scene so popular. Right, Zhu Ke is indeed very famous, but, at present, he can't do it to the point where everyone knows him. After all, Zhu Ke appeared more as a behind-the-scenes worker. There are many people who know Zhu Ke, and there are not a few people who do not know or understand Zhu Ke. Mr. Zhu Ke Wald, born in 1977, entered Hollywood development when he was only 18 years old in 1995. Mr. Wald, who is only 24 years old, although he is young, has made remarkable achievements in Hollywood. He has directed the two films Lola Run and Tuner successively, which has won a strong market response. As a screenwriter, he has participated in popular movies such as Junia, Fruit Hard Candy, Fatal Turn, Spartan 300, Spider-Man, Harry Potter and so on. As a producer, he even founded the film company Wald Pictures. Now, Wald Pictures has become a force that cannot be ignored in Hollywood, dedicated to film-loving people in the United States and the world. One movie after another. Yes, he is Mr. Zhu Ke Wald, Hollywood's most well-known talented director, gold medal screenwriter, and gold medal producer. The Oscar outfield host gave a series of introductions without delay. There are tens of millions of people watching the program in front of the TV, and many of them are dumbfounded at this moment. They were shocked. How can it be? God? Is this true? The Spider-Man and Harry Potter movies were actually made by this young man. My God, this world is crazy. He is also only 24 years old, and my son is still gnawing at home. But what about this Zhu Ke Wald? He is already a super rich man. Many people who heard Zhu Ke's name for the first time were dumbfounded. For example, at this moment, in a family far away in New York, the Morse family as his father, the old Morse looked at the TV and exclaimed, "This young man is too good." As a mother, Miss Cassie nodded, "Yes, the young people are really better than the other now. It seems that I have been teaching in school for a long time, and I don't know that there is such a powerful young man now. I estimate that he has at least a net worth of more than 100 million yuan. It should be." Old Morse nodded as soon as the voice fell. Little Morse, as his son, couldn't help laughing immediately. "Dad, you are the owner of an auto repair shop. Mom, you are a middle school math teacher. But, I have to say, you really out." Little Morse laughed suddenly. The couple looked speechless. Little Morse eased his mind and said, "Dad, when your auto repair shop is hiring employees, you don't use the LinkedIn website less, right?" "Yes," Old Morse nodded and said, "although I don't know how to use a computer, the LinkedIn website is pretty easy to use." Little Morse smiled. "This LinkedIn website was created by this young man in your mouth. He is the owner of the LinkedIn company, What? Old Morse was startled as a mother. Miss Cassie's eyes widened as well in the following time. Little Morse, for his parents, severely disclosed a series of Zuke's great achievements. The boss of WB Television Network and Up Television Network, major shareholder of WWE, World Wrestling Entertainment, shareholders of many well-known internet companies such as Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, Oracle, etc., the boss of California Standard Bank, mom and dad www.Zhu Ke Wald has long been a super rich man with a net worth of tens of billions. The film company is just one of his many industries, Little Morse said cherishedly. Old Morse, Ms. Casey, the two stood in a daze, but when they recovered, they looked at their son Morse. No matter how they looked at you, it felt like you were not promising. Little Marston's face froze. The second update is sent. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelists. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 493, Ignore You Directly. M.R. Wald, director Steven Soderbergh commented that the films produced by your company are either horror films or commercial films. They are extremely lacking in artistry and have not yet received an Oscar. How do you watch them? Finally, a reporter raised the issue of this person-in-person. The strong smell of gunpowder and conflicting topics are the things that these sensitive media people pay most attention to. They are eager for the two of Zhu Soderbergh to start a battle. Who are you talking about? Director Soderbergh, is he a director from Europe? Is he new to Hollywood? Zhu Ke immediately gave 3 consecutive questions in an instant. A group of media reporters at the scene were trapped knowing the great director Steven Soderbergh. Zhu didn't even know real or fake. No, isn't he shaking us? A reporter said uncertainly. The other reporters looked at each other too. Immediately, a reporter said, M.R. Wald, Steven Soderbergh is a Native American director. As early as 1989, when he was only 26 years old, he relied on his personally directed debut film Sexuality, Lies, videotape film won the Palme d'Or at the Cannes Film Festival in one fell swoop, becoming the youngest person to win the award. In 1998, he filmed the movie Strategic Master, which starred Don Chandler, Colonel Rod in the reunion series, George Clooney, Jennifer Lopez and others. Once it was released, it won a very good box office. This year's Oscars, the two films Drug Network and Never Compromise, filmed by Steven Soderbergh, are the most popular films of this year's Oscars. The voice failed. Zhu Ke said flatly. Then what? The reporter was choked immediately at this moment. He didn't care if Zhu Ke was really confused or pretended not to know anyway. He wants to provoke this tearing battle. Just now, director Steven Soderbergh commented that the films produced by your company are either horror films or commercial films. They are extremely lacking in artistry and have not yet received an Oscar. How do you watch them? The reporter said loudly. Immediately, all the media reporters on the scene focused their attention on Zhu Ke and they all took out the recording pen. Conflicting topics must be picked up. This is the only idea the reporters have now. Zhu Ke looked around and said with a smile, hey, he won the Palme d'Or at the Cannes Film Festival at the age of 26, so he is pretty good. But I really don't know or understand this director, and also, you just said that he won the Palme d'Or at the Cannes Film Festival in 1989 and became a well-known director in 1998 when he filmed Strategic Master. Then I would like to ask, what is he doing in the past 10 years? For a while, the media reporters on the scene fell into dead silence. Of course they do. It is because of knowing that they are extremely ecstatic. That's right. After a period of dead silence, the reporters present were completely ecstatic. From 1989 to 1998, Steven Soderbergh, as the director, successively filmed Kafka, King of the Hill, Very Strange Murder, Grey's Anatomy, Perverted City and many other movies. However, the result, these films either failed miserably at the box office or failed to make it to the theater market at all. Since then, he has lost the trust of the production company and was almost driven out of Hollywood in a desperate manner. How miserable. At this time, a key figure appeared. Steven Soderbergh's father, Old Steven, is the dean of Louisiana State University's School of Education, and has an old relationship with the CEO of Universal Pictures at the time. As a result, Soderbergh, who was almost driven out of Hollywood by the dinghy, became the director of the movie Strategic Master, starting his journey as a great director ever since Black Material, properly Black Material. M.R. Wald, Steven Soderbergh is a daddy fighter. He is totally incomparable to you. Writer Stanley reminded loudly. Yes, Andre said loudly. Who in the United States does not know that Mr. Wald, you started from scratch? When you were only 19 years old, you started filming your first personal film Run Lola, which garnered as much as $100 million in one fell swoop. Overseas box office results. A Palme d'Or at the Cannes Film Festival. How can you compare to your actual box office results? Others dare not say anything. Writer Stanley and Andre. But there are not so many taboos. To lick a dog requires the consciousness of licking a dog. In a word, California entertainment news and Los Angeles entertainment news are completely on Zhuke's side, unless others put a higher price. Oh, it turned out to be a guy who fights father. Zhu Ke immediately made an expression that suddenly dawned on him. After a few seconds, he said solemnly, I thought he was amazing, but now it seems that such a person doesn't mention it. The look of disgust. Of course Zhuke knows Steven Soderbergh, and, very much, I know that Steven Soderbergh is not only an excellent director, a pretty awesome one, but he also has amazing accomplishments in photography, screenwriting, and production. From 1989 to 1998, Steven Soderbergh was silent for a few years, not because he was not talented, but because he began to lose business, and went too far in photography, screenwriting, and production, which made him a director. His own job is ignored. However, he was destined to be not the same with Zhu Ke, so there is no need for Zhuke to befriend him. There are so many awesome directors in Hollywood. I don't have to go to please you. Zack Snyder, Christopher, and Nolan, which one can compare to Steven Soderbergh? Zhuke thought. Thought to himself. Ignore it fiercely. The reporters wanted to provoke the dispute between Zhuke and Soderbergh. Zhuke made them wish, but in a more direct way, that is to ignore him. The reporters are excited. It's great. It will be written in the news tomorrow. Steven Soderbergh is a well-known director. That's right, but he is a director who works behind the scenes. What about Zhuke? 10 billionaires. This name alone is enough to crush all the popularity of Soderbergh. Not long the news reached Steven Soderbergh's ears. At this moment, you reading www.uucan'tchoo.com. His face is blue and his face is quite ugly. Fighting father. There's nothing wrong with these two words. Why don't you have resources? However, for Steven Soderbergh, who has always claimed to be a genius, it is not so easy to accept. Even if I won the title of Best Director Oscar tonight, it is estimated that the dark history of Fighting Dad cannot be removed. Steven Soderbergh gritted his teeth fiercely at this moment. George Clooney, also the founder of the 8th District Film Company, said bitterly, "Men, you provoke someone bad, but you want to provoke him. Whoever in the world knows his vicious tongue? The key is that he still has a lot of grudges. Where can the small arms and legs of the 8th District Film Company be able to twist the thigh of Wald Pictures?" Hearing that, Soderbergh almost spewed a mouthful of old blood. He just thought about mouth addiction. The first update is sent. Chapter 494, IN number 039, Emma Real Boss. Hi, Zhuke. Zhu Ke walked across the red carpet and across the interview area. As soon as he arrived at the venue and sat down, one of them greeted Zhu Ke, called Zhu Ke, not a respectable name among the population. Mr. Wald, the visitor obviously has this qualification. His name is Summer Redstone, a well-known billionaire, the owner of Viacom Group, one of the world's largest media groups, the owner of Paramount Pictures, one of the 6 largest Hollywood media groups, and the world's largest offline DVD and videotape. Chairman of Blockbuster Group, a distributor and leaser provider. Zhuke turned and looked. The first thing that catches the eye is not the thin old man Redstone, but the main creator of the film Man 100%, director Nancy Meyers, starring Mel Gibson, Helen Hunt and others. Then, Zhu Ke saw the little old man lay shitten with a smile on his face. Mr. Wald, please sit down here. Bruce David, the senior producer of Paramount, got up very foresight and gave way to Zhuke. Thank you. Zhuke thanked him. He was not polite at the moment, and sat down. The two big guys want to talk. Everyone around them evaded subconsciously. Even the popular actor Mel Gibson, who has always been very arrogant and has abused Wald Pictures in private, has a smile on his face at this moment, and dare not go beyond the slightest. In a word, Zhuke is someone he can't afford to offend. Mel Gibson, to be precise. Looking at Hollywood today, there are really few people who can wrestle with Zhuke, or even the great director Steven Soderbergh, who just uttered cynicism. Has just been addicted to his mouth. Without Universal Pictures to support him, he would not dare to stab Zhu Ke with the 3 guts. In the United States, whoever has more capital has a greater right to speak. This is the truth, I said. Redstone, You would come to the Oscars? As far as I know, the last time you came to the Oscars was at least 5 years ago, Zhu Ke said calmly after sitting down. You are right. Redstone smiled and said, I rarely come here. The last time I came here was at the Oscar in 1995. Think about it for years. Hearing this, Zhu Ke said with a smile, that's really an honor for this Oscar. After all, they invite you year after year, and you have refused it time and time again, isn't it? The bosses of the 6 major Hollywood companies rarely attend the Oscars. This is something everyone knows. For example, since Sony acquired Columbia Pictures, the old ghost of Sony's boss has only attended one Oscar. The bosses of giant companies such as Universal, Disney, Warner, etc. rarely visit the Oscars in person. In a word, Oscar is optional for them. The college officials did not dare to offend these capital bosses. Zook, I'm here this time, but I made a special trip for you. Don't forget, you are the first producer of Tomb Raider. Redstone looked at Zhu Ke quite bitterly, and said, I know from Shirley Lansing that you have never been to Paramount Pictures since the filming of all the movies in January this year. Pile of post-editing materials, but it's all waiting for you to make a final decision. Man, can you have more snacks? Hearing this, Zhu Ke waved his hand and accused me of the crime. Blame me, blame me. Producer Bruce David kept scanning Zhu and Redstone with his eyes. This is Mr. Wald. If you change someone else, maybe what he was scolded like, David secretly said in his heart as a member of Paramount Pictures. He knows how hot his boss lay shitting is. Even Shirley Lansing, the CEO of Paramount Pictures, the top 3 figure on the Hollywood power list, has been scolded by the hot-tempered Redstone. At this moment, the well-known actor Mel Gibson on the side was also very envious, and said inwardly, it really is the communication between the big guys. If the producer is not Zhu Ke Wald, I will rush to the film in the past few months. If you don't ask, then it might be blocked by the entire industry. Switching to Zhu Ke, there is no such thing as a shit. In terms of current personal wealth, Zhu Ke has surpassed Lei Shitting. Well, at least more than $3 billion. Zhu Ke, to be honest, I am a little envious of you. Redstone didn't wait for Zhu Ke's response, and said to himself, you said, your Wald Pictures has created so many series of movies in just a few years. Zhu Ke was momentarily dumb. Fatal Turn series, Human Removal Project series, Reaper is Coming series, Spider-Man series, Harry Potter series. This does not count the Fast and Furious series being filmed, and the Pirates of the Caribbean series that has just been established and is in the stage of script writing. If you add in Zhu Ke's holdings of a lot of Marvel superhero copyrights, tut, unknowingly, Zhu Ke's film company already owns at least 10 series of movie copyrights. Redstone said solemnly, although I rarely pay attention to Paramount Pictures, I also know a little bit. Judging from the box office in recent years, Hollywood's future must be a series of movies. Whoever has a sufficient number of series of movies can guarantee the company's profits to the greatest extent and avoid losses. After speaking, Lei Shitting looked at Zhu Ke with scorching eyes. Zhu Ke immediately gave a thumbs up and praised, old man, I have to say, your vision is poisonous enough. After entering the 21st century, Hollywood has to face a problem, lack of originality. It is difficult for original scripts to get high box office, especially after 2005. There are no movies produced in Hollywood, non-series sequels, and movies that can get more than $1 billion at the box office. In addition, there are a large number of high-grossing movies, which are adapted from comics and comics. Original scripts need to take great risks. Even the big 6 movie giants like Hollywood can't bear the risk of such huge losses. Not long after the Oscars ceremony officially began, host Steve Martin appeared. Well-known actress Catherine Zeta-Jones, this year's Oscar for Best Art Direction Award, announces the winners. The Hollywood actor Nicolas Cage, who is most beloved by Eastern audiences, took the stage and presented the award for Best Supporting Actress. Russell Crowe took the stage and presented the award for Best Editing. After the whole process, the atmosphere on the scene became more and more enthusiastic, and everyone involved kept participating in it all the time. After all, cameras scan over them from time to time. Tens of millions of viewers in front of the TV are watching, and of course they have to consider the impact. But, at this moment, Zhu Ke and Redstone sitting in the front row, the two have been talking, completely separated from the whole scene. Many people can't help being full of black lines. This is too unscrupulous, right? Dude, don't you see who they are? Yes. One of them is the boss of Paramount, the other is the boss of Wald Pictures. The Oscar organizer and the Academy, who dares to offend them? Who of them cares about these rumors? One by one, the famous actors, producers and directors who are dazzling and beautiful www.wuxiaspit.com now count as one. Kwandang didn't see it. Xiaoli couldn't help but smash his lips and said, maybe, this is the real boss. Tobey Maguire nodded and said, at their level, they no longer need to respond to others, but other people should respond to them. The great director Spielberg was envious. Wald Pictures has now completely surpassed my dream works. Steven Soderbergh, the director who provoked Zucker not long ago, had a vague look in his eyes. This bastard, ignore me at all. The invited guests couldn't help talking, and the organizer of this year's Oscars. No one dared to come forward to remind them that they could only ask the photographers on site to try their best not to make mistakes. This is the real boss. The second update is sent. Chapter 495. The honor showroom is finally not empty anymore. For the Oscar statuettes, Zhu, to be honest, didn't take it so seriously. Winning awards can greatly promote the film's box office and related profits, and has a lot of effects. This is also a point that countless film companies look at if it fails to bring commercial value. You can see if they are keen on Oscar. Zhu, who entered Hollywood in 1995, has been in Hollywood for many years, and has not yet been able to harvest a golden man. After all, he's still young, but Wald Pictures has not yet been able to harvest a golden man. That's a bit unreasonable. Before the end of this year's Oscar voting, Robert Lem, the leader of the Academy, said in private, this time the Oscar winner must have Wald Pictures. Don't ask why, guys. Don't forget, Wald Pictures has released a lot of great films for many years, and it also has global distribution channels, and it has a strong influence at home and abroad. If it has never won the Oscars, and I am worried that Wald Pictures will give up the Oscars in the future, don't think I am alarmist. A newly emerging film company at the top of the second tier, especially if its boss is a well-known media tycoon and super rich in the United States, maybe he will stop playing. Robert Lem, the top leader of the Academy, has to say that his shrewdness is almost perfect. The Academy behind the Oscars has a strong influence and can block any Hollywood actor. But, look at it, how did they offend the big six in Hollywood? Don't dare. Robert Lem, in the American entertainment industry, capital is king. Everything else is fake. This is not even if Zhu Ke and Lei Shidan were chatting unscrupulously after the Oscars ceremony officially began. No one dared to say a word. Moreover, the awards have to be offered obediently. Never let a top Hollywood second-tier film company stay outside of the Oscars. Robert Lem, during his tenure as the head of the Academy, Robert Lem was definitely quite qualified. After ensuring a certain degree of fairness, the cake-sharing behavior was quite outstanding. Oscar can have such a big influence and popularity. Robert Lem is indispensable. The first little golden man got it, Best Art Direction Award. Soon, the second statuette is also available. This time is the Best Original Soundtrack Award, and the well-known musician Tan Dun came to the stage to receive the award. The third little golden man also quickly entered the family of Wald Pictures, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone movie. Although it is a commercial fantasy movie, it is difficult to compete for the Best Film, Best Director, Best Actor and Actress and other awards. But, the Best Costume Design, well, small prizes are also okay. Time is passing slowly. This year's Oscars ceremony has officially come to an end. Zhu Ke and Lei Shidan, who had just finished their conversation, were sought after by many star actors and directors on the scene. Congratulations, Mr. Wald, your company has won 6 statuettes in this year's Oscars. The head of the Academy, Robert Lem, congratulated him. Thank you. Zhu Ke squinted and said with a smile, so I said, the Academy must be fair. If you understand, you understand. Robert Lem is a smart man. After getting Zhu's promise, he immediately smiled and said, I also believe that Wald Pictures will join the Oscar family, and it will definitely make the Oscar better and better. Oscar Awards. Want absolute fairness and justice? Dream it. This year's Oscar Awards ceremony, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon film won the Best Foreign Language Film, Best Art Direction, Best Original Soundtrack, Best Photography, a total of 4 statuettes. Spider-Man movie won the Best Visual Effects. The movie Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone won the Best Costume Design. Since then, Wald Pictures won a total of 6 Oscars at the 73rd Oscars. The honor showroom in Wald Pictures is finally no longer empty. This year's Oscar is also very typical for dividing cakes and dividing pork. In addition to individual awards, the major awards were basically divided among the 3 films Gladiator, Drug Network and Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. These 3 movies alone won 13 statuettes in one fell swoop. You must know that each Oscar, there are only 20 figurines in total, together with Zucker's Spider-Man and Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. They won 2 more figurines. There are only 5 figurines left. Very typical. Wolves have more to meat and less meat. What can I do? The big guy divides one more point. Jackie Phoenix stepped forward and said, Mr. Wald, congratulations, thank you. As the actor who has collaborated with Wald Pictures the most times, Zhu Ke is still quite friendly. Not much else, as long as the pay is appropriate and the role fits well, Zhu Ke will give priority to him when choosing a role. If there is a chance, we will cooperate again. At that time, you may not be able to win the actor. Zhu Ke laughed upon hearing this. Jacques immediately opened his eyes and smiled. Zhao Lizzie also came over at this moment and congratulated him. Mr. Wald, if you want to cooperate, you can also consider me. Haha, I definitely will. Now Wald Pictures is not what it used to be once upon a time. Zhu Ke basically adhered to the principle of high quality and low price when selecting actors. But now, there are better choices, even if the film is more expensive. What about? Wald Pictures is not bad for money. Furthermore, the higher profile big name actors are not low paid, but they will greatly promote the box office gains. A well-known actor, director, and producer came forward to greet Zhu Ke like a tight. Even people Zhu Ke didn't know. Zhu Ke was greeted with a smile at the moment. No way, I'm in a good mood, Zhu Ke secretly said in his heart. However, there will never be a shortage of villains in the world, and there will never be a shortage of yin and yang people. Steven Soderbergh, this great director who had a conflict with Zhu Ke not long ago, was very angry because of Zhu Ke's ignoring behavior now. He came over triumphantly. Mr. Wald, this is Steven Soderbergh. I believe you must know me now. Soderbergh is like a proud cock, you know. Just 10 minutes ago, he just became the best director of the 73rd Oscar. For a time, many people turned their attention here. After all, both are the big winners of the night. Soderbergh added, my 8th District Film Company is right next to your company. We will have many opportunities to meet in the future, but, where's Zucker? Oh? You are, who are you? Zhu asked. Puff. Soderbergh flushed directly, suffered an internal injury, and almost spewed a mouthful of old blood. He knew that Zhu did not look down on him a little bit, and would even ignore him, but he never expected that on this night when he just won the Oscar for Best Director title. Zhu would still treat him like this. He is now a little trapped. The owner of Paramount Pictures Redstone www.wooksiaspit.com couldn't help but say to the producer David beside him, I always hear that men, regardless of their status and age, have achieved. What kind of achievement is sometimes a naive ghost? Now it seems that it is really true. Producer David nodded in deep agreement. Tisk Tut. Zhu's friend, John Lasseter, the leader of the Pixar 5 Tigers, shook his head directly. Even my boss Jobs has been speechless by Zhu several times, not to mention you. Soderbergh read. George Clooney, Soderbergh's friend, didn't speak, but the twitching face he couldn't help but suffice to explain his unrest at the moment. The first update is sent regarding the film Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. The minister didn't write much? Well, people involved in the country don't dare to write too much for fear of being blocked. Once bitten by a snake for 10 years, I was afraid of the ropes. After all, the minister has been sealed off several books. Chapter 496. Zhu, speak up. The reception scene is, we all know, since 1992, after each Oscar awards ceremony, there will be a celebration reception hosted by the well-known American magazine Vanity Fair. Basically, well-known entertainers who participated in the Oscars are on the list of invitations for this cocktail party. Of course, some small actors and small directors who are not eligible to participate in the Oscars ceremony will also squeeze into the reception with great strength, and even are willing to spend a lot of money for which invitation letter. If you want to be famous, how can you do without connections? Jennifer Lawrence, known as the Big Cousin. Jennifer Lawrence, the first 90-year post-election actress of Oscar, once said on a TV platform, I will always remember that 2007, that year I officially stepped into Hollywood. My life wants to be a big star. In order to participate in the reception after the Oscars, for the invitation letter, my agent ran for 2 days and spent $3,500 to get the invitation letter. Everyone knows the next story. Jennifer Lawrence made it. He succeeded in this reception and met a big Hollywood figure, Harvey Weinstein. Since then, with the help of Harvey Weinstein, she was less than 20 years old and starred in many heavyweight movies. The Magical Girl in the X-Men, First Class series of movies, the absolute heroine in the Hunger Games series of movies. In 2012, with the help of Harvey Weinstein, she succeeded in winning the Oscar Queen laurel this year and became the first Best Actress in the Oscar 90 years later, in 2015. In the list of the world's highest-paid female stars published by Forbes magazine, she won the championship with an annual income of $52 million. In 2016, Jennifer Lawrence once again won the Forbes Top 10 highest-paid actresses in the world with an annual income of $46 million. In just a few years, Jennifer Lawrence has accomplished the achievement that countless actresses dream of, but then Harvey Weinstein fell. Behind the scenes, the Gold Master fell, and Jennifer Lawrence quickly got cold. However, all of this shows how attractive the Vanity Fair cocktail party is to young actors who are new to Hollywood. Dalilah Riley, the 16-year-old, beautiful-looking British girl with blonde hair, spent $500 to purchase an admission ticket to enter the reception. Dalilah, this is the ticket that I finally got. If you really want to develop on the road of actors, then you must work hard. Today, this is where most of the entire Hollywood is gathered. Well-known directors and producers, and there is no shortage of film and television company bosses. If you can get their appreciation, then you will surely skyrocket. The agent, Ms. Miria, introduced her little artist Dalilah Riley from time to time at the starry reception. Look at that woman in a blue backless dress. She is Ms. Lauren Schuler Downer, one of Hollywood's gold medal producers, the agent admired. I know her. Riley nodded and said, she was the producer of the superhero movie X-Men that hit the scene in 2000. The agent continued, that's right. Moreover, even Mr. Kevin Fitch, the now famous president of Wald Pictures, has served as her assistant for a full 2 years. Hearing this, beautiful girl Riley's eyes lit up instantly. If you can get to know the gold medal producer Lauren Schuler Downer, or if you have a familiar face, then she is undoubtedly on the top. However, the reality is often cruel. Hello, Ms. Schuler, I am Riley from the UK. I am currently a model and actor. I am very happy, however, the words have not been finished yet. Sorry, I'm not interested in your name. I still have things. Lauren Schuler Downer, a gold medal producer, interrupted her directly. Her face was very cold, giving people a kind of life. Feel not close to people. Riley, the story of Cinderella is always a fairy tale that exists in fantasy. The reason why extremely is a miracle is because it is extremely rare. Riley returned to her agent, Ms. Miria. Griefly, the agent comforted, don't be afraid, there is nothing terrifying about a failure. Today's reception is not the only one for Schuler, there are too many big shots. Riley nodded, and re-energized. Hello, Director Steven Soderbergh, I'm Riley. Dalilah Riley. I am a model and an actor, Mr. John, I am, time after time, more than a dozen times. The little girl Riley failed. She is beautiful, that's right. However, Hollywood, the Vanity Fair, has never lacked beauty. At the same time, not every actress is as lucky as Jennifer Lawrence. Even those stars, directors and producers who like unspoken rules, due to her too young age, and this kind of public place where there is no lack of media, they will not easily make promises. Failure, endless failure. I also blame the little girl, Riley, who is still too innocent at the same time. Her agent, Ms. Miria, is also a novice who hasn't been in the business for long. Otherwise she would never adopt such a naive approach to strike up a conversation. Two rookies meet together, the result can be imagined. Lily, look, that's Mr. Shea, the boss of Hollywood's second-tier film company New Line Pictures. A proper Hollywood figure, you must know the actor next to him. That's right, he is Viggo Mortensen. He played the role of King Leonida in Spartan 300 Warriors and recently appeared in The Lord of the Rings, Aragorn in The Fellowship of the Ring, said the agent. Riley summoned her courage and stepped forward to talk again. However, the result is still very tragic. Shea frowned and said, little girl, this is a cocktail party. Should you show up at your age? Also, you said you are an actor. My God. May I ask you to be Jennifer Lopez, or Julia Roberts? Oh, you are not like this, you are just an ordinary little girl. Do you think I need to know you? I'm very busy. After speaking, Shea made Riley quickly disappear from his eyes very impatiently. Viggo Mortensen didn't say anything. Although he's a well-known good old man in Hollywood, he has a consistently good personality and is well received by other actors, but he doesn't need to say anything. After all, Shea next to him is very impatient now. At this moment, Riley wept. She finally couldn't hold on anymore. Tears were streaming down her eyes. As soon as the agent Miria saw that the situation was not right, she ran over immediately. Hey, I said Shea, Can you be a little demeanor, you bad uncle, scared the little girl to cry. At this time, a word suddenly came. Hearing this, Zhu immediately turned annoyed and was about to get angry, but when he saw someone coming, his anger disappeared. Zhu is here. Zhu Ke said it too. Shay's face was full of smiles, and he smiled. Zhu, you are amazing today. You can be said to have made the limelight. Viggo Mortensen, Mr. Wald www.uxiaspitcom. Good evening. Although both of them greeted each other, they were really taken aback. No. Zhu Ke Wald looks very sunny on the surface, but he is not a bad person. How can he be nosy? Shay knows Zhu's personality very well. He knows that Zhu Ke is not the kind of person who is brave enough to fight injustice. It can even be said that Zhu Ke Wald is a villain. Shay thought to himself. Zhu was immediately happy when he saw this. He guessed it right. Zhu has never been a bad and nosy person. He came forward because he recognized this young and beautiful girl named Daniela Riley, who is only 16 at the moment. The second update is sent. The minister was busy picking up people at the train station during the day, and today's update is late. Sorry. Chapter 497, Fellow. Daniela Riley, this beautiful-looking British girl, who is only 16 years old, is a model and actor by profession. However, she did not do very well in these two professions. It can even be said to be very bad, especially in the actor industry. She has basically been playing tricks all the time. Participated in the movie Beer Murder in 2003, in the movie Pride and Prejudice in 2005, and New Along Girls' School in 2007. She also appeared in the movies Inception and Thor 2, The Dark World, and ran past a dragon set. In 2016, she also played a role as a dragon in the American drama Western World, which can be called a magic drama. Her future acting experience can be said to be extremely rich. The total number of films and TV dramas she starred in is definitely not less than 150, but the scenes she starred in throughout her acting career, all the total number of scenes in her acting career does not exceed 60 minutes. Proper people with big dragons, well, don't accept the kind of rebuttal in questioning a girl like her who enters Hollywood with a dream in her heart, but hits the wall again and again and achieves nothing. Zhu has not seen too many. I have no interest in what your name is. Zhu, the owner of New Line Pictures, and Schuler, a well-known gold medal producer, are very accurate, but, as a traverser, I know Daniela Riley. Zhu Ke squinted. Elon Musk, mention Musk, the founder of Tesla and SpaceX. I believe that many people all over the world know him. Musk is very rich and a successful entrepreneur. He is called the real version of Iron Man, Silicon Valley's #1 rich and handsome, and he is a very crazy person. He has completed a private company. The feat of launching a rocket has created the best electric car in the world. Daniela Riley, who will become Musk's second wife in the future. Of course, the age difference between the two is quite large. In 2010, the two married. In 2012, the two divorced. In 2013, the two remarried. In 2016, his mother divorced again. The love story between Riley and Musk can be filmed in a Dog Blood TV series at 8:30 p.m., with bizarre twists and waves. Zhu looked at Lily, the little girl with rain in the pear blossoms at the moment, and couldn't help thinking, you are with Musk, and the result is definitely not going to be better. Who does not know that he is a complete playboy, the real version of Iron Man? It's not a vain name. Didn't the famous Depp ex-wife and DCC Queen Amber also have a relationship with Musk? 2 wives, 4 girlfriends, 6 sons, tisk tusk tusk. He is talking about Musk, 4 girlfriends. Haha, this is just a formal girlfriend. If you count as a woman who has been in love with Zhu, then the total is probably not less than the number of people in one camp. In the last life, Zhu has not been a melon-eating crowd, so he can recognize Lily in front of him. Your name is Riley? I know you very well. I'm Zhu Ke Wald. Zhu shook hands with Riley very gentlemanly. Riley, who is raining on pear blossoms, is a little stunned. Daniela, what are you doing in her days? This is Mr. Wald. The agent Melia on the side responded fast enough, but in fact, as a rookie agent, her head was buzzing at the moment. Hello, Mr. Wald, I'm Daniela Riley. I am glad to meet you. Riley squatted as Riley, who is aspiring to develop in Hollywood. How can you ever think that one day you can meet a big man like Zhu? Zhu looked at her and smiled. Then turned his head to the New Line film boss Shay and said, I said Shay, look at what a cute little girl, and look at her now with rain and pear blossoms. You are really shameful. Shay's face muscles twitched, and he smiled strongly. Haha, my fault, my fault. Children only pay attention to face, adults only want benefits. This is how Zhu came forward. Otherwise, You see what Shay would do, Riley, right? My tone was a bit heavy just now, and I apologize to you. Shay is a qualified capitalist. Viggo Mortensen on the side also said apologetically, pretty girl, sorry. Zhu Ke nodded insignificantly, expressing his satisfaction afterwards. Zhu Ke, Riley and her agent Muriel walked to the corner of the reception, sat down and chatted. Riley, you are very beautiful. This is your advantage. But, you are only 16 years old this year, which is your disadvantage. Zhu Ke looked at her and said, you are a little older when you play a little girl in film and television dramas and movies. When you play a female role in a regular movie, you are too young. In this situation, I believe you should know, but isn't it? A large number of Hollywood child stars, between the ages of 16 and 20, basically face the situation of nothing to film overcome. You will become famous, just like Zayali, can't make it through, haha, then your actor career will be cold. Riley, broker, a rookie actor, a rookie agent who has just entered the industry, heard Zhu Ke's words and couldn't help smiling at each other. There are a lot of youth films produced in Hollywood every year, but it is a big wave, and there are not many lucky ones. At this time, Zhu Ke smiled and said, Riley, I look good at you. If you are interested, you can join my company. Huh? Riley and her agent were taken aback. Zhu Ke added, the Wald Films under my name rarely involves actors' agency contracts, but in the near future, Wald Films will set up a young actor management department to focus on TV movies. You are 16 this years old. After joining, you can not only learn the knowledge of acting systematically, but also have the opportunity to appear in TV and movies. The olive branch is thrown out. This is definitely an irresistible temptation for Riley, who has run into a wall many times. Surprise, sudden, but www.wooksiaspit.com is not so friendly to the agent Miria. This is poaching people in front of her. But helplessly, she has no choice. The small brokerage company she works for is completely inferior to the hair of Wald Pictures. Haha. Zhu Ke smiled, took out a business card, and said, there is my phone number on it. You can call me anytime after you think about it. After speaking, Zhu got up and left. Riley, it's pretty. It's hard to say that in the future, Elon Musk and I will become comrades in the same way. Zhu was immediately happy. Zhu Ke dare not pretend to be a playboy, but it is definitely not Liu's Ayahu. In 2010, Riley was named #1 in the Hollywood's Most Beautiful Dragon list by Vanity Fair magazine, which is not an understatement. The first update is sent. Chapter 498, Youth Performing Arts Department. The next day, that is, the day after the 73rd Oscars was over, the headlines of the national entertainment news media, of course, were the big winners of this year's Oscars. The three films Gladiator, Drug Network and Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon accounted for 13 Oscar statuettes. Almost all the traffic is attracted. No, the theater team made a statement immediately. After all, this is all money. The Gladiator movie was released in the United States on May 5, 2000. After 8 months, it was already off the theaters. At the same time, the DVD of Gladiator was actually released in November 2000, but, now, with the title of Best Picture at the 73rd Oscars, it was once again promoted to the theaters, and in one fell swoop it won 670 theaters for screenings. As the producer of the film, DreamWorks Pictures, won the 73rd Oscar for Best Picture, not only won the honor, but also brought huge economic benefits. Gladiator North American box office increased by tens of millions of dollars. It was pretty easy. Universal Pictures as the distributor of the movie, the North American box office, the box office of overseas countries and regions, including offline DVD and videotape sales, will surely usher in a wave of growth. This is the economic value brought by Oscars. The movie Gladiator is like this, and the movie Drug Network is not too swaying. On December 27, 2000, the Drug Network film officially landed in major theaters across the United States. Up to now, it has received a total of $112 million in the North American box office. There are less than 220 theaters in North America, but what about the day after the Oscars ceremony? 720 movie theaters. That's right, the number of theaters has soared by 500. Many companies in the same industry are dying of jealousy. Jealous, but I can't help it. Who said no? The Drug Network film won the 73rd Oscar for Best Director, Best Supporting Actor, Best Film Editor, and Best Adapted Screenplay, a total of 4 awards. The theaters reacted fast enough and adjusted the film arrangement in the first place. Tusk envy and jealousy are worthless in front of the traffic that Oscar brings. When facing the media interview, AMC Entertainment, one of the three major theaters in the United States, said, "It is foreseeable that the North American box office of Drug Network will increase by $800. There is no problem at all. Box office, the increase in the box office is certain other related interests of the film will also grow a lot. The huge economic benefits brought by the Oscar Awards are the core reason why Oscars are always sought after by many film companies. The number of films Gladiator and Drug Network has surged in theaters, and the Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon movie, which is also the big winner of this year's Oscar, is not to be outdone. As of the eve of the Oscars, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon had a box office of $93 million in North America, making it the most popular foreign-language film in American film history. Kevin Fitch's first timeline. The first foreign-language film in American film history with a box office of over $100 million is about to be born. It is Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. The traffic that comes with the Oscars, the reports of various media, and the promotion of Wald Films, which is the producer and distributor, make the film's box office growth inevitable. The first foreign-language film in American film history with a box office of over $100 million, with this gimmick alone, it is enough to attract a large number of old and American audiences into the cinema. At the same time, California Entertainment and Los Angeles Entertainment, two media newspapers that are influential in the entertainment field across the United States, and supported by financial sponsorship provided by Wald Pictures, spare no effort and almost flattery opened a large-scale report. The focus of the report is Zhu Ke himself and the movie Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Oscar Best Picture, Gladiator, Oscar-level Best Director's Film, Drug Network. These two movies have only been taken in one stroke. The owner of California Entertainment, writer Stanley, and the editor-in-chief of Los Angeles Entertainment, Andre, on the red carpet yesterday, was shameless enough, but now it seems that I still seriously underestimate their downline. What? Global Times asked Myung Endech, the editor-in-chief of the section, and muttered to himself very contemptuously, "The media colleagues are actually very envious. Let the media's morals go aside. What are the morals in offline? Don't forget, we are just entertainment media." Andre, the editor-in-chief of the Los Angeles Entertainment News, was complacent. 1 week later, the movie Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, which won 4 Oscars, finally broke the $100 million mark at the North American box office at 2 o'clock this afternoon. The first foreign-language film in American film history with a box office of over $100 million was born, boss. Thanks to the gimmick of the Oscars, the Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon movie has not only achieved good results in the North American market, but also the box office in overseas markets such as Europe, Asia, Australia, etc., has also seen significant reverse growth in the near future, according to our forecast. When Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon goes offline, the global box office will be no less than $200 million, the production cost of $15 million, the film announcement cost of $17 million, the operating cost of Oscar awards of $11 million, the total cost does not exceed $50 million, and the exchange rate is less than $200 million at the global box office. I have to say that the benefits of this movie are far beyond our imagination. As the president of Wald Pictures, Kevin Fitch was full of joy while reporting to Zhu. "No way, the results are brilliant, bang bang bang." Zhu Ke applauded and exclaimed, "Good job. The Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon brought by director Ang Lee made us money, so we can't treat him badly. At least in terms of director's remuneration and movie box office share, we can't be in arrears. Don't worry, in terms of economic issues, our Wald Pictures credibility is well known," Kevin Fitch said. Speaking of this topic, Zhu Ke couldn't help thinking of Shay, the boss of New Line Pictures. Shay, that was notoriously stubborn with the completion of the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Xinxian Films, as the producer, had a lot of trouble with director Peter Jackson. Just a few years of court proceedings has given Xinxian Films its reputation. Stinks the street. On the one hand, Zhu Ke regards money as fate. But on the other hand, he is very particular about credibility and integrity. And the next time Zhu Ke and Kevin Fitch also talked about TV movies and the agency appointments of 12 to 20-year-old young actors, boss, the Youth Performing Arts Department under Wald Pictures, I have established and completed the first phase of recruitment and training in California and other places. It is estimated that in 3 to 5 days, the first period of enrollment will be completed. The next 3 months, 6 months, www.wuxiaspit.com will carry out systematic training for these young actors, mainly in acting. At the same time, we will also package them into one young man after another. Group idol, The TV movie High School Musical is already ready to go, the movie Dancing Out of My Life. As long as they perform well, they may also appear in it. Kevin Fitch talked eloquently, and projects blurted out of his mouth. Tisk tut. Zhu Ke couldn't help but utterly said, packed as a youth idol? Disney earns little money from minors every year because of this. Zhu Ke is still very jealous of Disney's profitability in this area. I don't know if there are any future little demons I am familiar with in the list of recruiting young actors in the first period, Zhu Ke thought. The second update is sent. Chapter 499, Hollywood Goblins in Droves. The news that Wald Pictures established a youth performing arts department did not have large-scale publicity, but thanks to the brilliant performance of Wald films, it still attracted a lot of media reports. Of course, there will be no shortage of the two media, California Entertainment and Los Angeles Entertainment. After the news was posted on the official website of Wald Pictures, there were more than 30,000 messages in less than 5 days, which shows the current influence of Wald Pictures Canada. The small city of Halifax. Ellen Page, she was born in this small city in 1987. She is only a little girl. Not long ago, she had just celebrated her 14th birthday. She loves acting and dreams of becoming a film actor, and has been working hard in this direction. At the age of 10, she went to school while learning acting. In the same year, I was lucky enough to participate in a TV series. I have to work hard and work harder. I will definitely succeed. This is what the little girl Ellen Page often says on her lips. She is young and not tall, but her tenacity is not small, and her perseverance is amazing. Slap. At this moment, the little girl's door was pushed open. The little girl's mother ran over excitedly. For a year, little Alan, my mother wants to tell you a good news. You don't like acting and want to be a real actor. I just talked to Professor Charlie from the Toronto Film and Television School. I called again. Guess what did he say? He said, this is a very talented actress. Did you hear it? Professor Charlie from the Toronto Film and Television School. He has trained several well-known actors and actresses. You are favored by him. I believe that within 2 years, you can enter the Toronto Film and Television School. Little Ellen, your father and I are very happy. You are a pride. Mother was talking about it, and she was full of excitement. But Ellen Page, a 14-year-old girl, didn't say a word, staring at the computer screen in front of her. Little Ellen, are you listening to your mother? You are like this. Mom is going to be angry. Aren't you listening? What are you looking at the computer screen? What? The official website of Wald Pictures, a film company in Hollywood, USA, recruits students for the Youth Performing Arts Department. The little girl's mother was a little angry at first, but when she saw the content on the computer screen, she finally knew the reason for her daughter's demon man. That's Wald Pictures. The Toronto Performing School is indeed the leading performing school in Canada, but you also have to see who you are compared with. In terms of popularity, how can it compare to the USC Performing Arts Academy in the United States? In terms of the ability to make stars and support the role, it is even more difficult to match the three-pointer of Wald Pictures. A long time the mother and daughter just woke up from the computer screen. Mom, I don't want to go to Toronto Film and Television School. I want to go to America. Go to Wald Pictures, said the little girl Ellen Page. The tone is unusually firm, sonorous and powerful. The little girl's mother was embarrassed. When I think of my daughter going to such a remote place, as a mother, how can I be willing? However, her own daughter, she knows too well. The films Fruit Candies and Junia, produced by Wald Pictures, are two of Ellen Page's favorite movies. I think Scarlett Johansson's performance in Fruit Candies is not as good as mine. If I were to play the role of Little Red Riding Hood, I would perform better. There is also the Junia movie starring Jessica Chastain. I think her performance is average. If it is performed by me, I think it should be more joyful to better highlight the theme of the story. This same little girl Ellen Page often talks about it because of these words. Ellen Page is often teased by her classmates, but she has a strong heart and doesn't care about others' depreciation at this moment. The little girl Ellen Page said again, Mom, no matter whether it succeeds or not, I like to go to Los Angeles. Even if I fail, I will not give up. Mother nodded with a wry smile, and forced a smile. When your father comes back, I will tell her, in the original time and space, whether it is Fruit Hard Candy or Junia. In fact, it is the representative work of the little girl Ellen Page. In 2006, she played the Phantom Cat in the X-Men series. In 2010, she played the role of the dream builder of Inception. Evaluation: she is not so beautiful and not tall, but this smart and independent actress is undoubtedly the outstanding representative of the new generation of Hollywood actors. London, England. What? Are you kidding me, Tom? Tom Hardy. Tell me again. At this moment, John Hardy, a professor of screenwriting at the University of London, is very angry. Professor John Hardy looked at his son and said angrily, "Please, you are already 24 years old this year. You are not a child. Can you stop being willful? How much relationship did I trust to make you star in Brothers? Chances are, your contract is about to be officially signed. But, what about you? You tell me now, you don't do it. Want to go directly to Los Angeles, to Wald Pictures, please. I want young actors who are 12 to 20 years old. But, what about you? You are 24 years old. Yes, I don't deny the star-making ability of Wald Pictures, but you are no longer a teenager, and you can still delay for a few years. Anyway, in a word, you give me this idea as soon as possible, and honestly go to the company of brothers." The crew reports. Professor John Hardy was furious, looking at his stubborn son. He was almost mad. "No. Never." Tom Hardy bounced off the sofa and said, "Hard steel, you also said that I am 24 years old this year, and I am no longer a child. I have the right to choose my own path, and you have no right to interfere with me." In the youth acting department of Wald Pictures, the enrollment age range is between 12 and 20 years old. However, it is also noted that actors who are not within this age range can also be admitted exceptionally after passing the interview. Tom Hardy knows that he is a bit older, but he also thinks that this is his advantage and rich experience. He admits that his acting skills are not bad, can be selected by Spielberg and Tom Hanks to star in Brothers, even if it is a big game, even if it is the result of his father's relationship, but Tom Hardy's acting skills are indeed quite outstanding. "Humph," Professor John Hardy snorted coldly, "you are not allowed to go. Remember, I am your father and I will not harm you." Tom Hardy's mouth twitched, but still insisted, "I have already bought the ticket, and I am not going alone. My friend Robert Pattinson, he has convinced his parents. I will be with their family. Let's go to Los Angeles together." In the original time and space, Tom Hardy is not an ordinary person. In 2012, Tom's Batman, The Dark Knight Rises was released, in which he played the unruly villain Bane. In 2015, reading www.ucanchu.com, Tom's Mad Max, Fury Road was released, in which he played the taciturn protagonist Max. In 2017, he starred in the superhero movie Venom and acted as the actor. Especially when it comes to acting as a villain, Tom Hardy is definitely one of the best. Well, it is him that evil spirit Ling Ren is talking about. Similarly, Tom's friend Robert Pattinson, although he is only 15 years old, is not an ordinary person. Robert Pattinson, his future name is definitely very loud. The ex-boyfriend of the famous Kristen Stewart, the male protagonist of the Twilight movie series. In 2020, he was also confirmed by Warner as the actor of DC Batman. Nowadays, a large number of young actors are coming to Wald Pictures. The first update is sent. Chapter 500, New Company, Jade Bird Brokerage. 1 week passed again. The first 15-day recruitment and training of the Youth Performing Arts Department launched by Wald Pictures officially came to an end. It attracted the participation of as many as 2,000 young people from all countries and regions around the world. One by one, accompanied by their parents, they participated in round after round of selection. However, there are only 10 places that can be admitted. In the end, the successful pass rate is only 2%. Mom, I was eliminated. After the final results were announced on the official website, many teenagers who were eliminated and lost, many of them shed tears. A little boy who was only 12 years old, his eyes were soaked with tears and blurred, and his ears were sobbing endlessly. "Mom, why don't they want me?" The little boy cried extremely sadly. The little boy's mom and dad can only provide constant comfort. Mother said distressed, "Don't cry. Baby, don't cry." Dad said, "Baby, this is only the first period of recruitment and training. After half a year, Wald Pictures will start the second period of recruitment and training, and we will come again when that time comes." The second term. Hearing this, the little boy's eyes lit up, which made him feel much better. Well, this is a type of family harmony. The American entertainment industry is different from Eastern traditional thinking. In the Eastern mode of thinking, parents want their children to have a good childhood, but the West is different, especially for some parents who do not have a job. Their purpose of nurturing children is very clear, which is to make their children earn money. That's right, kids make money. These underage children have been arranged by their parents to shoot various advertisements, walk in and out, enter and exit various agency companies and studios, and appear in a series of film and television dramas and movies since they were young. Obviously, the income these children earn goes into the wallets of their parents. These parents don't work, so they count on their children to make money. In the East, there is a noun gnaw the old. In the West, there is a noun blood-sucking worm. Blood-sucking worms refer specifically to adult parents who do not have a fixed job and use their children as a means of making a living. Cratty, you trash. You are a child star who started shooting commercials at the age of 4, started acting at the age of 6, and has participated in 5 movies so far. But what's the result? You were eliminated, and it was eliminated in the first round. You stupid fellow. Do you know how much money your mother and I spent on training you? Every week, piano lessons, dance lessons, and acting lessons cost a lot of money. In a family in Los Angeles, a meticulously dressed and well-dressed 30-year-old man, who has no quality at the moment, scolded his own child words. That's a terrible one. The child was crying, however, it was useless at all. His father was still cursing, with all kinds of ugly words. Mamba, stop scolding the child. The little boy's mother walked over with an angry look and accused, my son's eyes are crying and swollen. How can I shoot an ad tomorrow? If he can't make any money, you pay for the house loan and car loan. Dad Meng's mouth moved, and he didn't say anything anymore, but the little boy was completely desperate. Although he is still young and lacks specific recognition and knowledge of society, there is one thing he is very sure, that his own parents are very bad. It is simply terrible. I said it was their children, but they were more of a tool for making a living. Sad, it's very sad. However, there are many such family models in the United States. Not to mention everywhere. At least 500 such examples can be found in Los Angeles alone. Of course, it is far more than this number. These parents, are simply blood-sucking worms lying on their children. You said, act on the protection of minor children. Don't be kidding. There are too many such things, and the relevant departments can't manage it. The famous children's film Home Alone, in which the little boy Macaulay Culkin starred in the protagonist, is a living example. For him, his parents used him as a tool for making a living and a cash machine. 20th Century Fox Pictures. The recent actions of Wald Pictures are really not small. That's right. Since the Oscars ceremony, their film Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon broke the box office record of American foreign language films, breaking the $100 million mark, which can be said to be in the limelight. What's next? Wald Business Day. The Youth Performing Arts Department turned out. Tisk tusk tusk. This is to grab the jobs of those brokerage companies. We don't have anything to worry about, but it's just a little trouble. That's right. How much money can the brokerage company make? Top companies in the brokerage industry, such as CAA and William Morris Brokerage, have a profit of up to $100 million in a year, and they have to pay a lot of manpower and material resources. It's too much. What's more, the agency type of Wald Pictures is just some young actors. For us, there is no threat. The one who should be worried is not us, but Disney. Disney likes to make money for children and minors. Wald Pictures established a youth performing arts department, which basically did not have any impact on the big business of 20th Century Fox Pictures. Talking after a meal is over. Economic business. These petty profits. The executives of the 20th Century Fox Pictures really look down on them. Even Murdoch, who was the owner of 20th Century Fox Pictures, only curled his lips when he heard the news, and said with a smile, "Zook, it's quite frustrating." That's right. In Murdoch's words, this is nothing more than children's play and toss, nothing more brokerage business for these giant film companies, with this energy and financial resources. They can make more money by shooting a few movies. Disney Group. Michael Eisner, the chairman of the group, couldn't help but speak out when he saw the news. Eisner smiled at his subordinates and said, the youth acting agency of the Disney Group, in order to cultivate a batch of traffic stars who can become youth idols, it took several years to achieve results. And to grow to the point where it is today, it takes a lot of effort. Warner, 20th Century Fox, Universal, Paramount, Columbia, they are also powerful film companies. Why don't they engage in these? They can't help it. They have also tried, but the results? All are not satisfactory, and even a loss. Eisner sneered. I don't deny Wald Pictures' ability to make stars, but one thing I'm pretty sure of is that once the young actors who are trained, once they become famous, it won't take long for them to change jobs. Well-known brokerage companies such as William Morris. The brokerage industry in the American entertainment industry is so developed, famous actors are almost not tied to film companies. On the other hand, professional brokerage companies can get more rewards for them. www.ooksiaspitcom teen idols, but it's just traffic. To put it bluntly, it is to make quick money. We are professional in this respect. Disney chairman Michael Eisner is not at all worried about Zucker's actions. April 12. 5 days before the movie Shark Beach directed by Zack Snyder was released, Wald Pictures' Youth Performing Arts Department was officially established. At the same time, the Youth Performing Arts Department of Wald Pictures officially changed its name to Jadebird Brokers and became an independent subsidiary of Wald Pictures. Of course, the original foundation of the new company Jadebird Brokerage is itself a small well-known brokerage company, which has now been acquired by Wald Pictures. The 10 selected young people in the first period also formally signed a contract and entered the Jadebird Brokerage Company. The second update is sent. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.